Demon Slayer, I awakened Mangekyō Sharingan. Chapter 1. Demon Slayer. Fujikiyama. Uchiha Isha touched his forehead, which was broken and bleeding, and was quite shocked. I actually transmigrated. In his previous life, he was a coder on Earth. Due to his poor work and rest schedule and crazy internal involution, he died suddenly one night. After that, he was reincarnated into the demon world where he is now. However, his memories of his previous life have not awakened until now, letting him know that he is a time traveler. I am actually an Uchiha, and I have opened the Sharingan. With the awakening of his memory, Uchiha Isha quickly discovered his differences. Or rather, the flaws. This is the Demon Slayer world, not the Naruto world. Where do the Uchiha and Sharingan come from in the Demon Slayer world? But it should be said that Uchiha's Sharingan gave him the confidence to be invincible in the Demon Slayer world. In front of the Sharingan, what is the big boss of the Demon Slayer world, Muzan? Ah! When Uchiha Isha was thinking this, a scream suddenly attracted his attention. Then he saw a swordsman was defeated by the evil spirit in front of him and was killed. I was so happy that I almost forgot that I was participating in the final selection of Fujiki Mountain. The bloody scene in front of him made Uchiha Isha's face change. His identity after crossing over was the son of a doctor. Due to the sudden attack of the evil spirits, both his parents were killed. He himself survived with the rescue of the swordsman of the Demon Slayer Corps who arrived in time. After that, he joined the Demon Slayer Corps in anger and practiced for 2.5 years under the guidance of a water-breathing cultivator of the Demon Slayer Corps. After he had learned enough, he was allowed to participate in the final selection of Fujiki Mountain this time. But because it was his first time fighting with an evil spirit, he was afraid. This caused him to be injured by the evil spirit and was almost killed by it. Fortunately, other swordsmen who participated in the assessment helped to save the situation, and he was lucky enough to survive again. Even so, he fainted for a short time. This is why the memory awakened and the Sharingan opened at this moment. Next is your turn. When Uchiha Isha was about to fight the demon in front of him again with the sun blade in hand, the ugly demon with a ferocious smile was already rushing towards Uchiha Isha. Illusion Sharingan. Uchiha Isha did not fight the demon with water breathing, but directly opened his Sharingan and cast an illusion on the demon. Although it was the first time to use Sharingan. But after opening the Sharingan, everything about Sharingan has been reflected in his mind, making him very familiar with it. Sharingan with a Megatama spun rapidly in Uchiha Isha's eye sockets. Under the illusion of Sharingan, the demon in front of him paused. His eyes, which were originally full of cruelty and madness, also became a little dull. Although it is the most basic one Megatama Sharingan illusion, it is enough to temporarily control this demon whose strength is not very strong. Seizing this opportunity, Uchiha Isha picked up the sun wheel sword in his hand and chopped off the head of the demon with a water-breathing Form 1 water surface slash. As the head was chopped off, the demon quickly woke up from the illusion. After seeing the body beside him, he was immediately horrified, not knowing what happened. Go to hell! Uchiha Isha said coldly. The sun blade in his hand had been put back into its scabbard after completing the killing. No, I don't want to die. The demon kept roaring, his face full of fear. But before he could shout a few words, he was quickly reduced to ashes. The head is the demon's weakness. At least, this is the case for demons who have not broken through the boundary between life and death and overcome the weakness of being beheaded by the Nichiren sword. Once their heads are cut off by the Nichiren sword, their lives will also come to an end. This is. After getting rid of the demon, Uchiha Isha was about to breathe a sigh of relief. But the next change surprised him. An invisible force emerged from the flying ashes that the demon turned into, and poured into his Sharingan. With the influx of this power, he felt that his Sharingan seemed to have improved. Not only did his pupil power get a little stronger, but even the consumption of using the Sharingan became much less. In addition, his physical fitness was also slightly enhanced. Whether it was in terms of physical strength or strength, it was the same. Killing demons can improve my Sharingan and body. Is there such a benefit? Uchiha Isha soon discovered this clue. Killing demons will make you stronger. I don't know if this is the special feature of his Sharingan. Or is it his extra special talent? But no matter what, this is undoubtedly a big surprise for him. If he kills enough demons, will his Sharingan be able to evolve rapidly? 2 Megatama, 3 Megatama, or even Mangekyō? Thinking of this, Uchiha Isha's eyes were full of fire. If he wanted to kill demons in other places, he would have to look for them specially. But in Fujixe Mountain, where the final selection was held, the last thing it lacks is demons. There are at least hundreds of demons imprisoned in Fujixe Mountain. And they are his best supplements. Let me see how much these demons can improve my Sharingan and physique. Uchiha Isha was quite impatient. Then, he took the initiative to attack and began to look for demons around him. After searching all the way, Uchiha Isha found the demon group. They were 6 demons whose faces had changed a lot and looked very ugly. At this moment, they were beating up the 4 swordsmen who were surrounded. With too many people and too little food, each demon wanted to kill a swordsman first and take his body away for a feast. The demons who didn't get the food would have to look for other humans or compete with the demons who got the food. Under the siege of 2 demons, one of the swordsmen who practiced the breath of wind was about to die under the claws of one of the demons. Water breathing type 4, striking tide. Seizing this opportunity, Uchiha Isha, who was in the blind spot of the 2 demons' vision, took the opportunity to launch a surprise attack. Under his water breathing type 4, striking tide, the 2 demons were caught off guard and had no time to dodge or launch a counterattack. They were beheaded at the same time. No. How come? With a roar of reluctance and anger, the 2 demons turned into ashes and reported to the underworld. Come on! After the 2 demons died, Uchiha Isha soon felt a similar feeling as before. 2 energies surged out from the ashes of the 2 demons and sank into his Sharingan. With the gain of these 2 energies, his Sharingan and physique were strengthened again. Moreover, the improvement was even greater than before. After all, this was the energy contained in the 2 demons. Chapter 2. Pity. Although he could clearly feel the improvement of the Sharingan, it seemed that it was still far from evolving into a 2 Magadama. Uchiha Isha felt a little regretful. But soon, his regret disappeared, and he looked at the remaining 4 demons in front of him with a fiery gaze. After killing the remaining 4 demons, it should be enough, right? Uchiha Isha grinned a slightly cruel smile. The next moment, he held the sun blade and charged towards the demon closest to him, ready to kill it. Human, die! The demon who was targeted by Uchiha Isha roared fiercely. Although he was frightened by Uchiha Isha's fierce attack just now, his desire for blood food still overwhelmed his fear. He wanted to tear Uchiha Isha into pieces and eat him bite by bite. Roar! Die, damn human! Let me eat you in one bite! Several more roars were heard. The demons from the other 3 directions left their swordsmen behind and came towards Uchiha Isha. They naturally saw that Uchiha Isha was a very difficult person. They wanted to kill Uchiha Isha first, and then deal with the other little Karami swordsmen and enjoy them slowly. Careful! Watch out behind you! Seeing all the demons leaving them behind and heading towards Uchiha Isha, the 4 demon slayers were shocked and then they all stepped forward to help Uchiha Isha. They certainly couldn't just sit back and watch Uchiha Isha being killed by 4 demons. If Uchiha Isha died in battle, they would surely follow and be killed together. Oops! Can't catch up. It's too late. Although they wanted to help Uchiha Isha, the 4 swordsmen, who had consumed a lot of energy, could not catch up with the 4 demons at their swift speed. Uchiha Isha was thus trapped in the encirclement of the 4 demons. Just when the 4 swordsmen felt desperate, as if they had seen the end of Uchiha Isha and their own end, the next moment, they saw sharp blades flashing before their eyes. Accompanied by this, there appeared a huge water dragon phantom that kept flowing. That is. The 4 swordsmen looked shocked. Full concentration breathing water breathing type 10 life flowing. Uchiha Isha instantly entered the state of full concentration breathing and used the strongest attack of water breathing. Full concentration breathing is a certain advanced state of breathing. By speeding up the blood circulation and heartbeat in the body, the lungs are expanded, so that a large amount of air can be input into the blood. The blood under such stimulation will make the bones and muscles of the human body tense, and the body temperature will also rise. In such a state, the power of the swordsman of the breathing method will be greatly increased, so that he can compete with the powerful evil spirits and kill them. Now Uchiha Isha is going to. That's what he did. Although his full concentration breathing was only in the primary state, he could only enter full concentration breathing for a short period of time, and could not maintain full concentration breathing all day long, thus reaching the constant state. Even so, at present, relying on the temporary increase in strength from full concentration breathing, it was enough to deal with the 4 demons. Under this powerful blow, the evil demon targeted by Uchiha Isha was beheaded first. And the 3 evil demons who attacked Uchiha Isha were also beheaded one after another under Uchiha Isha's whirlwind attack. From then on, all 6 evil demons in this wave were wiped out. Call. After completing the killing, Uchiha Isha breathed a sigh of relief and released the state of full concentration. It took a lot of effort for him to launch this attack. Fortunately, he had absorbed the power of 3 demons before, which improved his physical fitness and strength. Otherwise, the effect of this attack, which was also the strongest attack that could be launched in the state of full concentration, might not be as good as it is now. It is estimated that he would be injured to a certain extent. Here it comes. When Uchiha Isha thought so, a sudden feeling made him look happy. The ashes transformed by the 4 demons emerged with corresponding energy, entered his body, and were absorbed by his Sharingan. With the simultaneous influx of 4 energies, his Sharingan soon reached a saturation point. The 1 Megatama in his eyes was spinning rapidly, and was about to evolve. In the end, there was 1 more Megatama in his right eye. His 1 Megatama Sharingan also became a 2 Megatama Sharingan. However, his left eye, due to a lack of stamina, finally stagnated at the level of a 1 Megatama Sharingan. 2 Megatama in the right eye and 1 Megatama in the left eye. How is this different from the 2 pillars? After feeling the condition of his Sharingan, Uchiha Isha secretly complained in his heart. Originally, he thought that both of his eyes could usher in evolution. Now it seems that it is still a little short. He is still some distance away from completing the double Megatama Sharingan. Fortunately, this part of the gap will be filled soon. As long as he kills all the remaining evil spirits on Fujixe Mountain. By then, let alone the double Megatama, he may even achieve the 3 Megatama Sharingan. As for the Mangekyō Sharingan, he didn't think that he would be able to usher in the opening after killing hundreds of demons on Fujixe Mountain. The demons on Fujixe Mountain are still too low level. If there are a few 12 demons mixed in, it's almost the same. But with his current Sharingan and strength, it is still unknown whether he can kill the 12 demons. Are you okay? At this time, 4 swordsmen came up to Uchiha Isha and showed concern for his condition. Due to the angle, they did not notice the abnormality in Uchiha Isha's eyes. In addition, Uchiha Isha had closed his Sharingan, which made it even more difficult for them to find out. Instead, they were quite impressed and unbelievable that Uchiha Isha could kill 4 demons instantly. This time, there is such a master among the new swordsmen? They said that Uchiha Isha is very close to being a pillar-level swordsman, and they did not doubt the possibility. It's okay. Uchiha Isha shook his head. After looking at the 4 swordsmen of the Demon Slayer Corps in front of him with surprise and admiration on their faces, he said, "Then I will leave first and continue to kill demons." After that, Uchiha Isha disappeared directly in front of the swordsmen. Rather than continuing to greet them, he wanted to search for the whereabouts of other demons and kill them. Have they gone? It's like coming and going in a hurry. We haven't even thanked him for saving our lives yet. Looking at Uchiha Isha's back as he quickly left, the 4 swordsmen sighed. If Uchiha Isha hadn't appeared, perhaps they would have all died at the hands of the demon. I have a feeling that he will become a pillar in the future, and the strongest pillar. After a moment of silence, the swordsman who used the breath of wind suddenly said. The strongest pillar. Perhaps, it is possible. The other 3 swordsmen looked at each other and did not refute. In some way, they also felt this way. Chapter 3. The night passed quickly. The next day arrived. Let's stop here for now. Uchiha Isha, who looked tired, sat down under a big tree and took a short rest. 20 demons. This is the result of his all-night demon hunting. Including the 7 demons at the beginning, there are a total of 27 demons. It can be said that the harvest is quite fruitful. If it weren't for the fact that it takes a long time to find demons, his physical strength would also have an upper limit. I'm afraid that there will be more demons who died in his hands. And if these subsequent 20 demons bring improvements to Uchiha Isha's Sharingan. When the 13th demon was hunted, Uchiha Isha's left eye, which had not evolved into 2 Megatama before, finally ushered in a successful evolution. The subsequent 7 demons only brought partial improvements to Uchiha Isha's Sharingan's pupil power and physical fitness. It is still a long way from evolving a 3 Magatama Sharingan, even if it is only a single eye 3 Magatama. Period, it seems to be very different. Perhaps it is because with the improvement of Sharingan, more energy from demons is needed for the evolution of Sharingan. Also, the energy provided by these demons is inferior to any of the previous 7 demons. These demons were either captured not long after becoming demons, or they were hungry for quite a long time and could not eat, so they became extremely weak. The energy they provide is very little. According to the current situation, if the subsequent demons hunted are still like this, even if Uchiha Isha kills the remaining 70 or 80 demons on Fujixe Mountain, he may not be able to evolve his Sharingan into 3 Megatama. Not to mention, there are so many swordsmen participating in this final assessment. The demons that Uchiha Isha can kill in the end will be even fewer. I remember there was a hand demon on Fujixe Mountain, but I don't know if it was killed by Tanjiro. Uchiha Isha suddenly thought of the strongest demon on Fujixe Mountain. It was an alien demon that had been imprisoned on Fujixe Mountain for 47 years and had eaten 50 humans. Because it had eaten so many people, the hand demon was much stronger than other demons that had eaten 2 or 3 humans at most. Its strength was simply not something that ordinary swordsmen who participated in the final assessment could handle. The disciples of the former water pillar of the Demon Slayer Corps, Urokadaka Seikanji, who came to participate in the final assessment, were all killed by the hand demon in these years. In the end, it was Tanjiro who relied on his talent and a super strong attack in a state of full concentration and breathing, and only then did he successfully kill the hand demon with difficulty. If the hand demon had not been killed by Tanjiro, with the energy of the hand demon, he might be able to make his Sharingan take a big step forward. Even if it cannot evolve directly into a 3 Magatama Sharingan, it is expected to be infinitely close to a single-eyed 3 Magatama. Combined with the remaining dozens of demons on Fujixe Mountain, it is entirely possible to evolve into a 3 Magatama Sharingan. I hope my appearance can trigger a big enough butterfly effect. Uchiha Isha sighed slightly. After awakening the memory of his previous life, he probably understood the current timeline. This is the timeline after the plot begins. The biggest evidence is that he and Tanjiro are in the same group of people who participated in the final assessment. At the foot of the mountain, he also saw Tanjiro Kamatu. Of course, the same is true for Kaneo Kurakaraku, Zenitsuo Agatsuma, Inashuk Hashibira, and Jinya Fushigawara, who also participated in this final assessment. According to the normal timeline, Tanjiro had successfully killed the hand demon on the first night of the final assessment. If so, now that it is the second day, there is no hand demon for him to kill. If Tanjiro fails to encounter the hand demon directly because of his appearance, he will have the opportunity to kill the hand demon himself. I was a little drunk yesterday. Maybe it would be better to make a plan first and look for the hand demon first. At that time, relying on the Sharingan and my strength at that time, it was enough to kill the hand demon. After sighing, Uchiha Isha couldn't help but feel a little regretful. Having said that, maybe his luck was really not very good. Otherwise, when he was looking for demons everywhere last night, he would have encountered the hand demon a long time ago. He wouldn't have remembered the existence of the hand demon just now. Night soon fell again. During the day, Uchiha Isha did not do nothing except rest. He tried to find Tanjiro and ask about the condition of the hand demon. But unfortunately, he did not even find Tanjiro. This also made him unable to confirm whether the hand demon was alive or dead. Instead, he learned some news about other swordsmen who participated in the final assessment through the swordsmen he met along the way. Originally, there were more than 20 swordsmen participating in this final assessment. But after one night, it seemed that most of the swordsmen had died on Fujisaki Mountain. The result of this death and injury is not small. And according to normal development, in the end, only Tanjiro, Kaneo, Zenitsu, Inashuk, and Fushigawara Jinya survived and passed the final assessment. This is the cruelty of the final assessment. Even if the whole army is wiped out, it is a common occurrence. After searching all the way through a forest, the noise coming from the front suddenly attracted Uchiha Isha's attention. Judging from the momentum, there were swordsmen fighting with demons in front. There were quite a few demons. It's time to harvest again. Uchiha Isha immediately rushed to the battle site. However, when Uchiha Isha arrived at the scene, he saw this scene. A light as a swallow swordsman, performing the beautiful and sharp flower breath, directly killed the 3 evil demons that attacked. The instant death of the 3 evil demons scared the remaining 2 demons. They fled in panic to avoid the god of death of the swordsman. But unfortunately, the speed of the swordsman was not what they could match. Almost the next moment, they were caught up, and all were beheaded and killed by the swordsman. From then on, the 5 evil demons were reduced to ashes. It may be because they were not killed by themselves. The energy of the 5 demons who died in front of Uchiha Isha could not be absorbed by Uchiha Isha's Sharingan to provide him with nutrients. Kaneo. Uchiha Isha recognized the swordswoman in front of him. She was Kaneo, the stepson of the insect pillar Shinobu Koko and the heroine of Demon Slayer. Only Kaneo could kill 5 demons instantly. After all, before taking the final assessment, the talented Kaneo already had a strength close to that of a pillar-level swordsman. If the final assessment was not a test that must be taken to become a swordsman of the Demon Slayer Corps, the supermodel Kaneo would not need to take part in the final assessment and could directly become a swordsman of the Demon Slayer Corps. It seemed that she heard Uchiha Isha say her name. After completing the kill, Kaneo subconsciously looked in the direction of Uchiha Isha. She naturally noticed the arrival of Uchiha Isha. But after discovering that Uchiha Isha was not a demon, she didn't care. To her surprise, Uchiha Isha seemed to know her. Although she was a little surprised. However, there was a communication barrier, and Kaneo, who had closed her inner emotions, did not ask anything. After showing a polite stiff smile, Kaneo put the Nichiren sword in her hand back into the scabbard, and was about to leave to continue looking for demons on the mountain. Chapter 4. Hey, Chineo. Seeing that Kaneo was about to leave, Uchiha Isha called out to Kaneo. He had no intention of chatting with Kaneo. But since they had met, it was just right to ask Kaneo about the information of the hand demon and other demons. Maybe there would be unexpected gains. Uchiha Isha's call stopped Kaneo's steps and made her look towards Uchiha Isha again. Have you ever seen an alien demon that is extremely large and has many hands? Also, how many demons have you killed? Uchiha Isha asked. Apart from the former, the latter is also important to him. With Kaneo's strength and speed in killing demons, if he continues to kill like this, I'm afraid that the demons he can kill will become fewer and fewer. There are not 70 or 80 demons for him to kill. It's considered lucky if there are still 30 or 40 demons left for him to kill. Facing Uchiha Isha's question, Kaneo did not give a direct answer. After a moment's silence, she took out a coin and tossed it up with a flick of her finger. Due to the closed heart, Kaneo could not make decisions and take actions by her own will. Butterfly Kane, who saved Kaneo, threw a coin is given to Kaneo, and she is asked to decide by flipping it. If the coin is facing up, she will respond to others and take action. On the contrary, if the coin is facing up, she will ignore others and refuse. Now, Kaneo has to decide whether to answer Uchiha Isha's question by flipping a coin. Uchiha Isha, who knows Kaneo's situation, naturally understands this. But it seems that his luck is not very good. Because when the coin falls into Kaneo's hand, the inside side is facing up. This means that Kaneo will refuse to answer his questions. That's the only way. Without waiting for the result, Kaneo continued to choose to leave. Feeling a little helpless, Uchiha Isha directly opened his Sharingan and looked into Kaneo's eyes. He wanted to use illusion to make Kaneo answer. Illusion Sharingan. Uchiha Isha cast an illusion on Kaneo. When Uchiha Isha cast the Sharingan illusion on Kaneo, whose dynamic vision was amazing, also keenly noticed the changes in Uchiha Isha's eyes. Seeing that Uchiha Isha's eyes suddenly turned red, and there was a pair of rotating 2 megatama in his eyes. Kaneo was slightly shocked and didn't understand what was going on. And the changes that happened in the next moment made her even more frightened. Her consciousness was actually slowly disappearing. Blood demon technique? But Uchiha Isha in front of him was clearly a human being. Without waiting for Kaneo to resist, she maintained her sanity. Under Uchiha Isha's 2 megatama Sharingan illusion. Soon, she fainted directly. Did not see. Killed 22 demons. Under the control of the Sharingan. Uchiha Isha quickly learned the answer he wanted from Kaneo. The former certainly made him regretful, but the latter made him astonished. Although Kaneo's number of demon hunting was not as many as his, including the 5 demons just now, there were still 5 less than his. But this was when he was trying his best to find demons and Kaneo killed demons as she saw them. If Kaneo also tried her best to find demons in Fujiki Mountain and killed them, maybe the final result would be more than his. It was a good thing that he discovered this early, otherwise in the next few days, I'm afraid I don't know why it would be so difficult to find the whereabouts of demons. Next, go to the northwest to look for demons. Using the Sharingan to make Kaneo forget what happened just now and after releasing Kaneo from control. Uchiha Isha was heading to the northwest corner of Fujiki Mountain. This was another piece of information he got from Kaneo. Before, he only knew that most of the swordsmen had died in Fujiki Mountain, but he didn't know the specific circumstances of their deaths. The northwest direction of Fujiki Mountain is where the most swordsmen have died. If the hand demon has not been killed by Tanjiro, then this is very likely the hiding place of the hand demon. Even if the hand demon is dead, there is a great possibility that many demons gather here. In any case, it is always worth a trip. Even Kaneo seems to have planned to use the northwest corner of Fujiki Mountain as her next direction to look for. Traveling in the northwest direction of Fujiki Mountain. The first half hour along the way was relatively peaceful. Not to mention demons, even swordsmen had not been seen. But the further he went, the more Uchiha Isha could feel the danger lurking ahead. That was not the breath that an ordinary demon could possess. This also made Uchiha Isha feel that if the hand demon was still alive, he might really appear here. After more than 10 minutes, there was finally movement on the road ahead. Only a rustling sound was heard. Then, a huge arm suddenly emerged from the ground under Uchiha Isha's feet. The huge elbow, which was taller than an adult, reached straight towards Uchiha Isha, and was about to grab Uchiha Isha in his hand. Here it comes, it's here. The most important thing is that he is still alive. Faced with such a surprise attack, Uchiha Isha was not surprised but happy. Who else could have such an arm on Fuji Mountain except the hand demon? It seems that his existence has indeed triggered a butterfly effect. The hand demon who was supposed to die yesterday at the hands of Tanjiro is still alive and has not been killed yet. Full concentration breathing. Water breathing type 6, twisting whirlpool. After a brief surprise, Uchiha Isha's face immediately became serious. He instantly entered a state of full concentration and used water breathing type 6, twisting whirlpool to cut off the attacking arm. Under the powerful whirlpool-shaped slash, the huge arm of the hand demon was directly cut off and fell to the ground, twisting continuously. It hurts so much. As his arm was cut off, he heard a voice full of anger and wailing from a tree hole not far away. Then he saw a tall, alien demon with arms all over his body crawling out from under the tree hole and appeared in front of Uchiha Isha. It was the hand demon. At this moment, he was covering his broken arm and wailing. His eyes were full of disbelief. How can it be? Why didn't it regenerate? The hand demon looked at the wound on his arm with a shocked face. He was a powerful demon who had eaten 50 people, and his strength and regeneration ability far exceeded that of ordinary demons. Logically, he should be able to regenerate and recover from this injury in seconds. But now, not only did his broken arm not regenerate, but he also felt a burning pain, which made him miserable. This was the first time in his life. Even Urokodaka Seikanji, the culprit who defeated him and captured him to Fujikiyama, did not have this ability. Chapter 5. It's painful, right? Confused, right? Don't you understand why the wound didn't regenerate? Looking at the painful hand demon, Uchiha Isha smiled. At this moment, the red-hot sun blade in his hand has explained everything. This is the red blade. Markings, red blade, transparent world, these are the 3 advanced abilities above the breathing of the full concentration. Only the pillar-level swordsman who has mastered the 3 advanced abilities and is not as strong as the upper-rank demon can hope to defeat the upper-rank demon. As for the red blade, it is necessary to infuse the grip strength of the pillar-level swordsman, or even the grip strength of the pillar-level swordsman in the state of markings, into the sun blade in the hand before it can be successfully opened. At that time, the blade of the sun blade the body will turn red and become extremely hot, thus gaining the ability to burn everything. That is, the red sword. Of course, there is also a way to open the pseudo-red sword. That is, the pillar-level swordsmen use their own sun blades to chop and collide with each other, and use external force to open the red sword. However, this kind of red sword is not only less powerful than the real red sword, but also has a time limit. Even so, whether it is the red sword or the pseudo-red sword, not only has a stronger killing power against demons, but also can prevent the regeneration of demons' wounds, restraining demons from the source. It can be said that it is a powerful weapon against demons. This is why the hand demon cannot regenerate at this moment. How did Uchiha Isha, who is not a pillar-level swordsman and has never opened the markings, open the red sword? This is thanks to the energy absorbed from the demon by the Sharingan. Uchiha Isha's strength has been greatly increased because of this. It can't be said to be 1,000 pounds of strength, but it's almost there. This also allows him to open the red sword when he is in a state of full concentration breathing. This is also a pleasant surprise for him. The only regret is that the quality of the sun blade he is using now is too poor. The Gorilla Scarlet Iron Sand and Gorilla Scarlet Iron Sand contained in it are too poor. There is too little ore. This makes it difficult for his sun blade to change to the color corresponding to the breathing method, and the power of the red blade will inevitably be affected. But it is enough to deal with the hand demon in front of him. As for whether Muzan Kibutsuji will find out that he has mastered the red blade and target him, Uchiha Isha is not afraid of this. Although he did not use the Sharingan illusion to control the hand demon, it did affect the hand demon's senses to a certain extent. Presumably, Muzan Kibutsuji cannot see the current actual situation through the hand demon, and at most he finds that he is a swordsman with some strength. Why? The hand demon, who didn't know about the existence of the red knife, had a look of curiosity. He had to find out the reason for such a terrifying ability. Do you really think I will tell you? Uchiha Isha was amused by the naivety of the opponent demon and complained. You. After hearing what Uchiha Isha said, hand demon knew that he had been tricked. He immediately wanted to attack Uchiha Isha again, and then interrogate him after taking him down. But before hand demon could make a move, Uchiha Isha, who had just finished complaining, had already made a move. Water-breathing 10th form, life-flowing. The strongest water-breathing 10th form was used by Uchiha Isha, who used the power of the red sword to kill the hand demon with all his strength. In front of the red sword, the hand demon was simply defeated. Even if he wanted to use his arms as a shield to resist Uchiha Isha's attack, it was useless. The red sword cut off all his attacking arms easily like cutting a piece of paper. Soon, it even chopped towards his neck. No. The hand demon was furious. He thought he had found another delicious food. But in fact, he was about to become a demon under the sword of the swordsman of the Demon Slayer Corps after living in hiding for many years. He couldn't accept this result. He hadn't killed all the disciples of his enemy, Urokodaka Seikanji, who came to participate in the final assessment, hadn't escaped from Fujiki Mountain, and hadn't taken revenge on Urokodaka Seikanji. How could he die here? I can handle it. My neck is stiff, and the remaining arm protection. Even Urokodaka Seikanji's disciple called Satoshi couldn't cut my neck. This time, it must be the same. At the moment when Uchiha Isha's sun wheel sword was about to fall on his neck, the hand demon tried to deceive himself and hope for luck. However, his luck was eventually shattered. As Uchiha Isha's sun wheel sword with the power of the red sword came down. Whether it was the arm protecting his neck or his neck, it was easily cut off. In an instant, he was separated from his head. Damn it, damn it! How could I be killed? I can't die, I can't! The hand demon roared helplessly, full of resentment and unwillingness. Become the nourishment for my Sharingan to grow, and then go to hell obediently. Uchiha Isha directly slashed at the hand demon's head that was beginning to dissipate. Under the burning of the red knife, the hand demon died instantly, unable to continue to vent his unwillingness and resentment. And his energy, from the head and body that turned into ashes, poured into Uchiha Isha's Sharingan. Coming! Let me see how much improvement the hand demon can bring to me. The energy pouring into the Sharingan made Uchiha Isha quite excited. Such a huge amount of energy is completely incomparable to the demons that were killed before. It is at least 20 times that of the previous demons. That's it. After a long time, after digesting the energy obtained from the hand demon, Uchiha Isha, who was full of hope, suddenly became disappointed. He thought that this wave of energy from the hand demon could at least increase the progress of his 3 Magatama Sharingan by 50%. Now it seems that 30% is a bit of a stretch. It seems that the energy required to evolve to the 3 Magatama Sharingan is beyond his previous imagination. After killing the remaining demons of Fuji Zishin, the progress of his single-eyed 3 Magatama can be increased to 50 to 60% at most. For the remaining progress, I am afraid that he will have to kill a lower-ranked demon to meet the needs of evolving the 3 Magatama Sharingan. This made his expectations seriously miscalculated. Fortunately, although the pupil power and strength of the Sharingan did not increase much, the hand demon's improvement in physical fitness was good. Uchiha Isha could clearly feel that his physical strength and energy had ushered in another wave of surge. Maybe if he doesn't enter the full concentration breathing state now, he can also open the red sword. It's pretty good. Uchiha Isha was quite satisfied with this. Uchiha Isha did not wait for Uchiha Isha to continue looking for the demon. He saw a figure wearing a haori, with a scar on his left forehead and a mask on his cheek. This figure, whom he had never met but was very familiar with, made Uchiha Isha subconsciously call out the other person's name. Tanjiro. Uchiha Isha asked in surprise. The person who came was Tanjiro Kamado. I didn't expect that I would meet him here. This is also a coincidence. Excuse me, do you know me? I don't seem to know you. Tanjiro Kamato was puzzled when the strange man reluctantly told him his name. He seemed to have never seen Uchiha Isha before. How did Uchiha Isha know his name? Chapter 6. I am Uchiha Isha, you may not know me, but I know you. I have seen you in Yunko Town before, and I have also seen your father. Especially your father Tanjiro's Kagura dance of the God of Fire, which is very exciting. Uchiha Isha said casually. Kumodori Town is the small town at the foot of Kumodori Mountain in Okudama where Tanjiro's family lives. It is Tanjiro's hometown. Uchiha Isha is not afraid that his explanation will be detected as a lie by Tanjiro with a keen sense of smell. Because he has really seen Tanjiro and Tanjiro before. Although it was in comics and anime, it can be regarded as seeing it before. So that's how it is. After hearing Uchiha Isaka's explanation, Tanjiro, who didn't smell any lies or find any clues, really didn't doubt Uchiha Isaka's words. He nodded honestly, with a look of emotion. Father. It's been a long time since I last saw him. Speaking of which, his father, Tanjiro Kamato, has been dead for 8 or 9 years. I didn't expect that someone still remembered his father and the Kagura dance of the God of Fire that had been passed down from generation to generation in their Kamato family. The most important thing is that the other party has actually joined the ranks of swordsmen who hunt demons and wants to become a member of the Demon Slayer Corps. This is really a coincidence. This may sound a bit presumptuous, but could you please, Tanjiro, perform the fire god Kagura now? In exchange, I can promise you something I can do. After a brief introduction, Uchiha Isha suddenly made this request. The god of fire Kagura is the starting breathing method, sun breathing. In the past, when Tsugakoko Yoriichi demonstrated his sun breathing to his friend Tanjiro Kamato's family, that is, Tanjiro's ancestor, Tanjiro Kamato engraved the sun breathing in his mind. In order to remember his friend, he passed the sun breathing as a Kagura dance in the Kamato family. This is also the reason why the Kamato family mastered the sun breathing. With the death of Tanjiro Kamato, to this day, Tanjiro is the only one who has mastered the sun breathing. Uchiha Isha is still somewhat interested in this strongest starting breathing. Since he met Tanjiro here, he wanted to try if he could master the sun breathing. Although the Sharingan is enough for him, and there may be no place for breathing methods in the future, he has not mastered any ninjutsu or genjutsu. The current means of attack mainly rely on breathing methods. If you can master the sun breathing, you can greatly improve your current combat power. And the sun breathing is an absolutely powerful weapon against demons. After all, this is the breathing method that best fits the red sword. Performing fire god Kagura now. Tanjiro also felt that Uchiha Isha's request was a bit presumptuous. Or rather, suddenly. Although it is not impossible, but this occasion and this time do not seem to be the right time to do such a thing. Even so, Tanjiro finally nodded and agreed okay. There are many reasons for choosing to agree. It is one thing to satisfy Uchiha Isha's wish to watch fire god Kagura. Another thing is that if he unfortunately died in battle on Fujiksi Mountain and failed to pass the final test, perhaps the fire god Kagura that has been passed down from generation to generation in his family can also be passed down through Uchiha Isha. If Uchiha Isha passes the final test safely by then. In this way, the fire god Kagura will not be lost. The latter is also the biggest reason why he agreed. As for exchange, forget it. It's nothing. Tanjiro waved his hands repeatedly. In his opinion, performing the fire god Kagura once was nothing. He was not the kind of person who would ask for rewards from others. Thank you very much. Uchiha Isha smiled slightly. Tanjiro had no idea what kind of opportunity he had missed. But he would still give the corresponding reward to Tanjiro in the future as a thank you. Then I'll start. My performance of fire god Kagura may not be as good as my father's, and it may have become rusty because I haven't practiced for too long. I hope you don't mind. Tanjiro touched the back of his head, a little embarrassed. He forgot how long he hadn't practiced fire god Kagura. Maybe he hadn't performed it since his family got into trouble. Of course. Uchiha Isha smiled and nodded. That being said, at this moment, he has already started to think. If the fire god Kagura displayed by Tanjiro is really not good, or not very standard, he simply uses the Sharingan illusion to dig out the ancestral memory inherited from the depths of Tanjiro's mind. This memory contains the most standard sun breathing. That is the sun breathing demonstrated by Tsugakoko Yoriichi himself. I'm starting. Tanjiro got ready and began to perform the fire god Kagura he had learned. It's strange. It's obviously an ordinary Kagura dance, but the feeling of fire god Kagura is very different. To perform it completely, it takes a lot of physical strength. When he was a child, he could only perform some of the dance moves. After that, he was already out of breath and couldn't continue. Speaking of which, why does it feel that this fire god Kagura is somewhat similar to the water breathing he learned? At least, this feeling of effort is somewhat similar to when he first learned water breathing. In addition, if the Kagura bell held in the hand when dancing the Kagura dance is replaced with a sword, it is almost the same as the sword shape of the breathing method. As soon as this thought came to his mind, Tanjiro suddenly had a very bizarre idea. No way! In fact, the fire god Kagura that has been passed down from generation to generation in their family is actually a breathing method? Fire god Kagura is fire breathing? This idea was deeply planted in Tanjiro's mind and did not dissipate for a long time. Is it really possible? If you can pass the final test, go back and ask Master Urokodaki. Master Urokodaki will definitely know. Tanjiro thought so in his heart. Uchiha Isha didn't know what Tanjiro was thinking at the moment, but he still saw that Tanjiro was distracted. Fortunately, Tanjiro's movements did not stop. At this moment, he continued to show him the sword form of the god of fire Kagura, or the breathing of the Sunday. And his secretly opened Sharingan was already trying its best to copy the breathing of the sun demonstrated by Tanjiro and engraved it in his mind. But there is one thing that Uchiha Isha did find. In the eyes of his Sharingan, the breathing of the sun demonstrated by Tanjiro was somewhat bad. Not only was each movement somewhat, some of them are not up to standard, and the connection between each sword form is not rigorous. Compared with the sun breathing displayed by Tanjiro in the comics and anime, it is much worse. In this regard, Uchiha Isha does not think that Tanjiro did it on purpose. It must be as Tanjiro said, Tanjiro really hasn't performed the fire god Kagura for too long. That is to say, Tanjiro is not in battle now. Otherwise, Tanjiro who instinctively uses the fire god Kagura in battle should be much more standard. At least, the fire god Kagura used by Tanjiro in battle in history is like this. Chapter 7. It's better to just use the Sharingan to dig out the breathing of the sun. Tanjiro's sun breathing, which seemed to be of little use, forced Uchiha Isha to take action. When Tanjiro demonstrated the last form of the god of fire Kagura, Uchiha Isha used his 2 Megatama Sharingan to cast an illusion on Tanjiro while Tanjiro was not on guard and his eyes were looking at him. As the Sharingan exerted its power, Tanjiro soon became sluggish, and Uchiha Isha was able to enter Tanjiro's spiritual world. Then, he dug out and searched for the memories of Tanjiro that were inherited from Tanjiro by Komatsu Tankichi. This process was somewhat complicated and difficult, and it was a very delicate job. But after a strenuous search, Uchiha Isha finally found the memory related to Tsugakoku Yoriichi and sun breathing as he wished. Then, through Tanjiro's perspective, or Komatsu Tankichi's perspective, he looked at this past. Or in other words, he looked at the sun breathing demonstrated by Tsugakoku Yoriichi himself. Form 1, Round Dance, Form 2, Blue Sky, Form 3, Fiery Red Mirror, Form 4, Illusionary Sun Rainbow, Form 5, Train, Form 6, Burning Bone Flame Sun, Form 7, Sunflower Thrust, Form 8, Flying Wheel Sun Flame, Form 9, Sun Turning, Form 10, Brilliant Enlightenment, Form 11, Halo Dragon, Head Dance, Form 12, Flame Dance. Under the demonstration of Yoriichi Tsugaku, all 12 sword forms of sun breathing were reflected in Uchiha Isha's Sharingan one by one and were remembered by him. After watching Yoriichi Tsugaku's demonstration of sun breathing, Uchiha Isha had only one thought. Tanjiro's fire god Kagura just now was simply a pile of shit. This is called sun breathing, this is the real fire god Kagura. I have also obtained the breath of the Sunday. It depends on whether I can master it next. After obtaining the breath of the sun, Uchiha Isha was about to remove the Sharingan illusion on Tanjiro and exit Tanjiro's spiritual world. But before he could remove it, Tanjiro's consciousness, which had become confused because of the Sharingan illusion, suddenly regained its sanity. And his spiritual will was squeezed out of Tanjiro's spiritual world by a force. This surprised Uchiha Isha. What's going on? Obviously Tanjiro has no ability to resist. Uchiha Isha was surprised and doubtful. But soon, he guessed something. Perhaps, it was Tanjiro and Tanjiro's family who were helping Tanjiro. Although the combat power of the Demon Slayer world is not particularly high, there are gods and evil spirits, as well as heaven and hell. Regarding the latter, it is worth mentioning that humans do not necessarily go directly to heaven after death, but will stay in the world for a period of time in the form of souls. Until the wish is fulfilled and there is no worry, then they will go to heaven with peace of mind. This is the case with Sanusi and Makoto. Tanjiro and Nezuko have received help and guidance from their deceased father Tanjiro. Perhaps they discovered Tanjiro's abnormality and felt that Tanjiro was in danger. So Tanjiro and the others took action and awakened the unconscious Tanjiro in an unknown special way. Forget it, I never intended to hurt Tanjiro. However, it is still necessary to make Tanjiro forget what happened just now. Uchiha Isha, who was squeezed out of the spiritual world by Tanjiro, used the Sharingan to cast an illusion on Tanjiro again, erasing Tanjiro's memory just now. Just like he used the Sharingan to make Kaneo lose her memory before. After completing it, he closed his Sharingan and floated away. Tanjiro slowly woke up after Uchiha Isha left. Then, tears flowed down his face. Although he had forgotten that he had been hypnotized and controlled by Uchiha Isha with the Sharingan just now, the extra memory of his ancestor Komatsu Tanjiro in his mind did not disappear. Moreover, it made him feel as if he had had a dream that he had experienced personally. This made him quite sad when he was involved in it, and he felt pity for Yoriichi Tsugakuin. It turns out that the fire god Kagura that has been passed down from generation to generation in our family is actually a breathing method. And it is a breathing method called sun breathing. Tanjiro kept muttering. Originally, he thought that if he could survive the final test, he would ask his master Urokodaka Seikanji about the fire god Kagura. Now, with the emergence of this memory, it saved him a lot of effort. Therefore, he finally understood. How did his father, who was weak from illness, get the strength to kill the terrible black bear with an axe before he died? Because his father Tanjiro was also a breathing swordsman. That. Should I give up the breathing of water and instead work hard to practice the breathing of the sun that has been passed down from my family? At this moment, Tanjiro suddenly had this idea. Uchiha Isha didn't know what Tanjiro had been through and what he was thinking. After he left, he ran at full speed and appeared in an empty area without any people or demons. He couldn't even take care of continuing to look for demons and hunting demons. He couldn't wait to try out the newly acquired sun breathing. The first form, round dance, the second form, blue sky, the third form, fiery red mirror. The first three sword forms of sun breathing were successfully used by Uchiha Isha. Yes. Although there were only 3 sword forms, he used them smoothly and did not feel any discomfort. This made Uchiha Isha surprisingly confirm this. He was able to practice sun breathing. This was undoubtedly a great joy. In theory, only people like Tsugakuin Yoriichi and Tanjiro who had innate flame markings, or descendants of sun breathing users and those who may have eaten blue-red spider lilies, could master sun breathing. Now he, an unrelated person, could actually use sun breathing, which was really surprising. It should be the credit of the Sharingan. After a brief surprise, Uchiha Isha, who was rational, attributed it to the Sharingan. He did not think that he was a rare genius who was suitable for practicing the sun breathing. It must be because of the copy of the Sharingan that he successfully mastered the sun breathing. After all, his Sharingan was not a special Sharingan. It was not impossible for him to master the breathing method that he could not practice by himself by copying it. Since the breathing method can be copied, it can be mastered. Then, what about blood demon arts? For no reason, Uchiha Isha suddenly thought of blood demon arts. Blood demon arts are abilities that only powerful demons can awaken and use. Demons who awaken blood demon arts are all very powerful. Their blood demon arts are even more varied. Based on the deeds of many demons when they were still human, the blood demon arts they awakened were still the abilities or desires they had been thinking about when they were human. To some extent, they are a bit like the pupil arts awakened after the kaleidoscope opens its eyes, relying on one's own spiritual portrayal and inner needs. At this point, blood demon arts can perhaps be called small kaleidoscope pupil arts. Chapter 8. Uchiha Isha had never thought of using the Sharingan to copy the blood demon technique before. Perhaps he himself did not think he could do it, so he had never thought of it at all. But now that he successfully copied and mastered the breathing of the sun, he had this idea. I guess it's difficult. Uchiha Isha soon felt that his idea was a little unrealistic. The main reason is that the blood demon arts of demons are based on their mutated bodies. Let alone the lower rank demons. For example, the ice making of the upper rank 2 Doma, the clone of the upper rank 4 Han Tengu, the pot making of the upper rank 5 Yahoo, and the fusion of the upper rank 6 Jaihudaru and Daki, are all like this. To put it bluntly, demons are alien species with mutated human genes. How can he, a human being, copy the innate abilities of alien species? At least, abilities other than those that humans can master cannot be copied. On the contrary, it may be possible to successfully copy and use things like Akaza's fighting skills or Kokushibo's moon breathing. What if I kill a demon with vampire magic and absorb their energy, will I be able to do it? Uchiha Isha thought of this possibility again. I have to say, this possibility is still very likely. If you kill a demon yourself, the Sharingan can obtain the demon's energy and achieve its own evolution and strengthening. By killing a demon who has awakened the blood demon art, perhaps you can master the other party's blood demon art and turn it into your own pupil art? This needs to be tried. Uchiha Isha must also try it. If you can do it, it will be amazing. Although he is a little impatient about this, he even wants to leave Fujixe Mountain immediately to find a demon with blood demon art to try it out. But after calming down, Uchiha Isha is not in a hurry. Before that, it is more important to constantly familiarize yourself with the sun breathing that you have mastered and strive to completely replace the water breathing. This is the foundation for improving your current strength. And it is more appropriate to use the demons on Fujixe Mountain to test your sun breathing. In addition, he also needs a better weapon. And a crow to help collect and transmit information. These can only be obtained after passing the final assessment and officially becoming a swordsman of the Demon Slayer Corps. So, Uchiha Isha continued to look for demons and hunt demons. Quietly. The remaining 6 days passed quickly. The final assessment of the Demon Slayer Corps this time also came to an end. How many demons did Uchiha Isha kill in these 6 days? In these 6 days, Uchiha Isha killed a total of 33 demons. The total of 6 days was only 6 more than the first day. This is not a small number. One of the reasons is that Uchiha Isha spent a lot of time practicing the sun breathing. More importantly, there were no demons to kill on Fujixe Mountain. The remaining demons may have been killed by Kaneo or Tanjiro. As a result, Uchiha Isha hardly encountered many demons in the last 2 days. Due to the decrease in the number of demons available for hunting, Uchiha Isha's single-eyed 3 Magatama Sharingan progress was less than 50% in the end. It may have barely reached about 40%. There is nothing we can do about it. But Uchiha Isha was not disappointed with this result. After leaving Fujixe Mountain, killing a few powerful demons, are you still afraid that the Sharingan will not evolve? It was already early morning when we arrived at the foot of the mountain. Uchiha Isha was the last one to arrive. Including himself, a total of 7 people passed the final assessment this time. This number is considered quite large compared to the list of people who passed the final assessment in previous years. Among the 7 people, there are Uchiha Isha himself, Tanjiro, Kaneo, Zenitsu, and Fushigawara Jinya. The remaining 2 are acquaintances of Uchiha Isha. To say they are acquaintances, they are not too familiar. As for the other party, they are 2 of the 4 swordsmen he rescued in the final assessment on the first night. It must be because of his actions that these 2 people survived to the end. As for the other 2, they should have died in Fujikiyama if nothing unexpected happened. As for Inosuke, he is not among the 7. Presumably, just like the original history, he did not appear after the final assessment, but left directly. For him, the 2 picked up sun blades are enough to use. Benefactor. Seeing Uchiha Isha, the 2 swordsmen immediately surrounded him and expressed their gratitude, which they had not had time to express at that time. Uchiha Isha nodded slightly, and then ignored the 2. The 2 swordsmen were also very tactful. Seeing Uchiha Isha like this, they did not continue to disturb Uchiha Isha. Instead, Tanjiro on the other side also came over after seeing Uchiha Isha. Uchiha brother. Tanjiro greeted Uchiha Isha. It's strange. After he demonstrated the fire god Kagura to Uchiha Isha that day, Uchiha Isha disappeared. For a moment, he thought it was his illusion. Now meeting Uchiha Isha here again, he can be sure that he is not dreaming. Although he is a little puzzled about Uchiha Isha's departure at that time. But compared to this, he is more grateful to Uchiha Isha. If Uchiha Isha hadn't asked to demonstrate the fire god Kagura, he would not know that his own fire god Kagura is the sun breathing. As for whether Uchiha Isha already knew this, that's why he asked him to demonstrate the fire god Kagura. He didn't have any doubts about this. We meet again. I am very happy to see you pass the final test safely. Uchiha Isha chuckled. As he spoke, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. Because at this moment, Tanjiro seemed to give him a different feeling. Mainly, the difference in breathing. I always felt that Tanjiro's breathing at this moment was hotter and more laborious. And this feeling of breathing made him extremely familiar. Could it be that Tanjiro has also changed his breathing technique and turned to practicing sun breathing? Uchiha Isha has every reason to suspect so. If I, who has mastered the sun breathing sword style and has begun to move towards full concentration in breathing, is a big sun, then Tanjiro is now a small sun. Me too. Tanjiro said excitedly. He was also very happy to see Uchiha Isha return safely. He never doubted that Uchiha Isha could return safely. Because when he met Uchiha Isha killed a demon that seemed extremely scary and powerful to him, and he was afraid that he would not be able to deal with it. How could such a powerful Uchiha Isha die on Fujiki Mountain? Welcome back everyone. Congratulations to everyone on returning safely. Without waiting for Uchiha Isha and Tanjiro to continue chatting, two figures from a distance slowly came forward to express their congratulations. They were a black-haired girl and a white-haired girl. As for the black-haired girl, the gender may not be very accurate. Because this girl is actually a boy. He is the only male among the 5 children of the head of the Demon Slayer Corps, Lord Yubayashiki Yoya, Yubayashiki Teruya. The reason why he dressed as a woman is not because the Yubayashiki family or Yubayashiki Teruya have a cross-dressing fetish. This is to make Yubayashiki Teruya live longer. Because of the existence of the Yubayashiki clan, the ancestor of demons, Muzan Kibutsuji, the Yubayashiki clan was cursed. The men of the Yubayashiki clan either died young or did not live to adulthood. In the end, they married the priest clan to dilute the curse of the Yubayashiki clan, and raised the male babies of the Yubayashiki clan in the same way as raising girls. This allowed the men of the Yubayashiki clan to live a little longer. At least, they could live to adulthood. It may not be a problem to even live to the age of 25. Even compared to ordinary people, this is still considered a short life. But for the Yubayashiki clan, it is already an extremely long life. At present, Yubayashiki Teruya is now in the stage of being trained as a girl. As for the other white-haired girl, she is a real girl. She is the daughter of Yubayashiki Yoya and the sister of Yubayashiki Teruya, Yubayashiki Hana. Due to the short lifespan of the male members of the Yubayashiki clan, the Yubayashiki clan is very strict in educating their offspring. This makes the children of the Yubayashiki clan very precocious, and they can't show any vitality and liveliness of boys and girls at all. Moreover, they have to shoulder the important tasks and responsibilities of the Yubayashiki clan early. Just like this time, Yubayashiki Teruya and Yubayashiki Hana took on the affairs of the Demon Slayer Corps. The two of them are responsible for the final assessment of Fujiki Mountain this time. Chapter 9. Next, the organization will prepare uniforms for you. After measuring your sizes, your class will be embroidered on the uniforms. The team is divided into 10 levels, namely A, B, C, D, E, F, G, S, R, and Qi. Now, everyone is at the lowest level, Aoi. Yubayashiki Teruya and Yubayashiki Hana told the 7 people, Uchiha Isha, who passed the final assessment, about what to do after passing the assessment. Where is the Nichiren sword? Fusewigawa Jinya, who didn't care about it or who already knew about it, asked impatiently. Yubayashiki Teruya and Yubayashiki Hana didn't care about Fusewigawa Jinya's attitude. They quickly answered Fusewigawa Jinya's question. The organization will let you personally select the steel you like today. After 10 to 15 days, your swords will be forged and delivered to you. In addition, we will immediately arrange your own special crows for you. Yubayashiki Teruya and Yubayashiki Hana said one after another. When talking about crows, under their instructions, 6 crows slowly flew down from the sky and landed on the shoulders of Uchiha Isha and the other 8. Uchiha Isha's crow has a dark red feather mixed in its tail feathers, which looks very recognizable and unique. I don't care about this crappy crow, what I want is the sword, the sun wheel sword. Hurry up and give me the sun blade. Fushigawara Swanya angrily smashed the crow on his shoulder against a tree nearby. After saying that, he angrily punched Yubayashiki Hana. But before his fist landed on Yubayashiki Hana's face, a foot appeared in his abdomen at some point and kicked him hard. Boom! There was only a loud bang, and the body of Fushigawara Swanya was kicked and hit the tree, and then fell to the ground. Cough cough! Fushigawara Swanya, who wanted to shout something, kept coughing. The pain from the kick made him unable to speak. If you can't wait, you don't need the Nichiren sword. But if you still want it, you can choose the steel by yourself, and wait for the Japanese wheel knife to be created. Not to mention, in terms of level, Hang Nei is also a child who is a demonly killing team. Uchiha elder brother is right. Tanjiro also stepped forward to block Yabayashiki Hana. This is the same for everyone. If you can't wait, you don't have to. Tanjiro said angrily. He was also very angry at Fuzugawa Jinya's behavior. Remember this. Fuzugawa Swanya wanted to say this harshly and then turn around and leave. But he couldn't really leave and give up the Sun Blade. Then, he stood up with difficulty. He first glared at Uchiha Isha and Tanjiro fiercely, then walked towards the steel on the shelf and prepared to start selecting. Under the threat of Uchiha Isha's force, he had to follow the rules. This is it. Fuzugawa Swanya gritted his teeth and kicked off a piece of steel that looked pretty good, and said to Yabayashiki Teruya. After that, he turned around and left Fujikiyama without looking back. Yabayashiki Teruya didn't care about Fuzugawa Swanya's rudeness. Or rather, he was numb and had no feeling about it. Therefore, he might not have any reaction to Uchiha Isha's help. Everyone, please choose the steel for making your swords. Yabayashiki Teruya looked at Uchiha Isha and the others, signaling them to start choosing steel as well. Then let's start choosing. Uchiha Isha glanced at Tanjiro beside him and said. Yeah. Tanjiro nodded happily. Then, they also selected the appropriate steel. I'll take this one. Uchiha Isha finally picked a smaller piece of steel. It was a little smaller, but he felt that this piece of steel would definitely suit him. Because he had practiced the breath of the sun, he was very sensitive to the solar power contained in the orangutan scarlet sand iron and the orangutan scarlet ore. The small piece of steel he chose contained a very strong solar power. The quality of the sun wheel sword made from it is absolutely top-notch. After the red sword is opened, the lethality to demons will be even stronger. But if you want to say the most suitable sun wheel sword for yourself, it may not be the sun wheel sword you just made. It is the sun wheel sword that Tsukuni Yoshiichi used in the past, hidden in the Tsukuni Yoshiichi puppet in the swordsmith village. The top skills and top materials of the Warring States period, plus it is the sword of Tsukuni Yoshiichi, the strongest user of the breath of the Sunday. No sword would be more suitable than this one. But the swordsmith village is not a place I can go to now. Even if I make this application, it will be shelved and rejected. It's not too late to accumulate some merits and then go to the swordsmith village to find this sun wheel sword. Then I'll choose this one. Soon, Tanjiro also made his choice. He chose a piece of steel of moderate size. His method of selection was different from Uchiha Isha's. His sun breathing had just transformed a few days ago, so he didn't have such a keen sense. He relied more on his nose. His sense of smell told him that this piece would be more suitable for him. After Uchiha Isha and Tanjiro, the remaining Zenitsu, Kaneo, and others also quickly finished selecting the steel. They would measure each other's body sizes later so that they could make the team uniforms. They each left their next destination and permanent locations so that they could send the swords to them in the future. From then on, this final assessment was successfully concluded. Uchiha Isha and the others said goodbye and left Fujikiyama. The result of this final assessment was soon transmitted back to the Demon Slayer Corps headquarters and was known by their lord Yabayashiki Yoya. Did 8 people survive this time? Even the demons on Mount Tengzi have been almost all killed, it's really outstanding. Perhaps, the Demon Slayer Corps will have another powerful swordsman soon. Yabayashiki Yoya was surprised by this result, but more of a surprise. The number of demons killed is an indicator of the Demon Slayer Corps' promotion. Killing 50 demons or killing the 12 demon moons can even directly become a pillar of the Demon Slayer Corps. Judging from the strength analysis of the swordsmen who passed the final assessment this time. Maybe there is such a person among the 8 swordsmen who passed the final assessment. Even if the demons killed in the final assessment cannot be counted, the opponent's strength is definitely far from the real pillar-level swordsman. But in the future, there may be such a new pillar in the Demon Slayer Corps. Chapter 10. Tokyo, Yanaka Street, Taito District. After leaving Fujisakiyama, Uchiha Isha came to the Fuji house here. The Fuji house is a family with wisteria flowers on the family crest. They are either an industry under the name of the Demon Slayer Corps, or a group that has received help from the Demon Slayer Corps and is willing to provide free help to the Demon Slayer Corps. The Fuji house where Uchiha Isha is located is the former. This Fuji house is also the permanent residence of the trainer who taught him the breathing of water. He has also stayed here for a year or two. But now, the trainer has gone to other places to train new swordsmen and is no longer here. Since there is nowhere to go, Uchiha Isha simply returned here to wait for the team uniform and the Sunwheel sword. It is worth mentioning that Asakusa is also in Taito district. It is only about 1 kilometer away from Yanaka where he is. It is almost the same to say that Uchiha Isha, Tamayo, and Muzan Kibutsuji live next to each other. If he needs to ask Tamayo for help or find trouble with Muzan Kibutsuji, he can go to Asakusa to search. 10 days passed quickly. During these 10 days, Uchiha Isha has been committed to constantly practicing the sun breathing. And the results of these 10 days of hard training. He has reached the full concentration breathing, which he could not achieve on Fujiki Mountain. It is really not easy to reach this state. Even with the improvement of physical fitness brought by the energy of the demon, Uchiha Isha has suffered a lot. But the current success is undoubtedly the best reward. It is also because of the full concentration breathing, which has been achieved. While Uchiha Isha's strength has greatly improved, he has finally stepped into the threshold of the pillar-level swordsman. What needs to be done next is nothing more than striving for excellence. It is necessary to master every nerve of the body with the breathing method, thoroughly master one's body, and make it more powerful. And hone one's own fighting skills, so that it becomes one with oneself and becomes instinct. In this way, it can reach the level of the so-called pillar-level swordsman. And then there are the 3 advanced abilities of stripes, red swords and transparent world. He has already mastered the red sword, and the remaining ones are stripes and transparent world. As for the markings, since they rely on pre-drawing vitality in exchange for more powerful strength, the swordsman of the breathing method will not live beyond the age of 25. Uchiha Isha will naturally stay away from it for the time being. On the contrary, the transparent world can be tried first. The transparent world tends to be skill-oriented. The key lies in the accuracy of the breathing method and the movements, and whether the greatest power can be exerted with the smallest movement. Wait until the time when you can close the unnecessary parts of the movement, leaving only what is needed for the corresponding movement, so that the blood vessels and muscles can open and close quickly. At that time, with the closure of unnecessary senses, the brain becomes transparent, and you will begin to see a transparent world. That is, the transparent world. To a certain extent, the opening of the transparent world perfectly fits the path to becoming a pillar-level swordsman. It can be said that it is simply killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Uchiha-sama, the swordsmith has arrived. One afternoon, when Uchiha Isha was doing his daily practice, he heard the manager of Fujiya coming to report respectfully. Oh, is it finally here? Uchiha Isha's eyes moved slightly, with a little joy. Once the sun blade arrived, he could finally go out to perform tasks and continue to hunt demons to improve his Sharingan. Although hard training can improve his strength, the cessation of Sharingan still makes him a little anxious. As for the team uniforms? Before that, on the 7th day, the uniforms of the Demon Slayer Corps had been delivered. This is a garment made of special fibers. It not only has excellent breath ability, but also has strong moisture resistance and flame retardancy. The most important thing is that it also has considerable defensive power. For weaker demons like Fujiki-yama, their minions can't even break through the defense of the uniforms. However, this seems to be of no use to Uchiha Isha. During this period of time, Uchiha Isha has discovered that his current body has first-class defense. In other words, the defense of the uniform may not be as good as his own body. Not to mention, the defense of the uniform is useless in front of powerful demons. That's even more useless. The uniform is more of a symbol of status. Yes, please follow me. The manager of Fuji House immediately led the way for Uchiha Isha. When they arrived at the reception room, a figure wearing a pink mask with thick eyebrows and crooked mouth appeared in front of them while drinking tea. Such a distinctive mask could only be from a swordsmith from the swordsmith village. Hello, Master Uchiha, my name is Tetsuji, and I will be the one who will be responsible for making your sword from now on. Seeing the appearance of Uchiha Isha, the swordsmith Tetsuji immediately put down the teacup in his hand and greeted Uchiha Isha. Hello, I'll trouble you from now on. Uchiha Isha nodded slightly and greeted him. Taideo Temple seemed to be a swordsmith who appeared in Demon Slayer. But he couldn't remember who he was and what he looked like. No, no. Taideo Temple responded politely. After that, he took off the long wooden box wrapped in cloth on his back. This is your sun blade, which took 10 days to make. I hope you will be satisfied. said Taidao Temple. Then, he uncovered the cloth outside the long wooden box, opened the long wooden box, took out the sun blade from it, and handed it to Uchiha Isha. Thank you very much. Uchiha Isha took his sun blade with both hands and was about to pull it out. You probably know that the sun blade is also known as the color-changing blade. It will change its color according to the user and will not change again. Tetsuji said. He was very curious about what color the sun wheel sword he had worked so hard to forge would become in Uchiha Isha's hands. This was also the scene that every swordsmith expected when he just forged a sword for the swordsman he was responsible for. As he spoke, Uchiha Isha had already pulled out his real sun wheel sword. The silver-white blade soon appeared in front of him. But in an instant, the silver-white sun wheel sword that was still a second ago instantly turned into a black sun wheel sword. It's actually black. Taidao Temple seemed a little surprised. This is beyond my expectation. Tetsuji said in surprise. The sun blade will change color depending on the user, and each color of the sun blade has its own characteristics. Among them, the black sun blade has the lowest probability of appearing, and people are puzzled. As a result, there is a saying that the swordsman holding the black sun blade is destined to be unable to advance. Although Tetsuji, the exclusive swordsmith of Uchiha Isha, is not annoyed, he still feels a little regretful. While feeling sorry for the sun blade he made, he also feels sorry for Uchiha Isha because of the legend of the Black Sun Blade. Chapter 11. There's nothing wrong with black. Uchiha Isha smiled. He knew the color of his Nichiren sword very well. If he was still using water breathing, then his Nichiren sword would definitely be aqua blue. But now that he has switched to sun breathing, the color of the Nichiren sword is the current black. It turns out that the reason why Tanjiro's Nichiren sword was black in history was because he practiced sun breathing first instead of water breathing. However, neither the Demon Slayer Corps nor the Swordsmith village knew this. Because the Demon Slayer Corps and the Swordsmith village had been attacked by demons, they lost a lot of important information and inheritance. Sun breathing was cut off from the Demon Slayer Corps because of this, leaving only a few words of description. This also made the people in the Demon Slayer Corps and the Swordsmith village unaware that the black Nichiren sword is the color that represents the user of sun breathing. Of course, there are some individual cases where the black Nichiren sword appears due to accidents, or the Nichiren sword turns black due to special reasons. We will talk about this separately. The most important thing is the person who uses the Nichiren sword. As long as I can kill the demon with this sun blade, that's enough. Uchiha Isha smiled at Taidao Temple, who still felt a little regretful. That's true. Taidao Temple also responded with a smile. Then, I will take my leave first. If you have any needs related to the sun wheel sword, you can write to me anytime and ask the to bring it to me. After drinking the remaining tea in the cup, Taidao Temple was about to leave. As a swordsmith in the Swordsmith village, he was also quite busy. If he didn't need to hand over the forged sun wheel sword to Uchiha Isha in person, he might still be forging weapons in the Swordsmith village. Be careful on the road. Uchiha Isha nodded slightly. He stood up and saw him off, and sent Taidao Temple all the way to the door of Fuji's house. Mission, mission. Why Isha, south-southeast, south-southeast. After sending Taidao Temple, Uchiha Isha returned to the yard to test his Nichiren sword. He saw his crows falling from the sky, calling continuously. It seemed that with the arrival of his Nichiren sword, his mission also came. It was time for him to go out to hunt demons. I see. Get ready and I'll set off. Uchiha Isha said. After that, he hurried back to his room to pack his luggage. He took some dry food and money with him. Following the guidance of the crow, Uchiha Isha quickly started his first demon hunting mission. Is this the place? After traveling for about half a day, Uchiha Isha, led by the crow, arrived in front of a huge house built in the forest. Yes, that's right. According to intelligence, several people have disappeared in this house in recent days. The crow flapped its wings in response. It seems that there is indeed a demon in there. Uchiha Isha nodded slightly. Although his nose is not as sharp as Tanjiro's, after the final test by Fujiyama, he is relatively sensitive to the smell of demons. Judging from the smell coming from the house, there are indeed traces of demons here. Moreover, it is an extremely dangerous demon. The degree of danger is even higher than that of the hand demon. Dong dong. Before Uchiha Isha stepped in, he began to look for the demon. Suddenly, a strange and somewhat disgusting drum sound came from the house. Drum. Etc. Combined with this drum sound, Uchiha Isha seemed to have thought of something, and his eyes widened slightly. Is this not the drum house? Uchiha Isha asked in surprise. Drum house is the habitat of the former lower six, Hibiki. It is also the target of Tanjiro's third mission. Speaking of which, Hibiki's location is southeast of Asakusa. Since Yunika is near Asakusa, and he is also heading southeast, which is the same direction as Drum House, this makes it more likely to be Drum House. It seems that I am lucky. The former lower six, plus the two powerful demons in the House of Drums, should be enough for me to open the single-eyed 3 Megatama Sharingan, right? Uchiha Isha showed a smile. If it was an ordinary demon, he might still feel regretful. But since it is a former lower six demon, it is simply too suitable. In particular, Hibiki's strength is not very strong. Even Tanjiro, who has not yet reached the state of full concentration breathing and constant state, can kill him. This is even more child's play for me now. Restraining his excitement, Uchiha Isha stepped directly into the House of Drums to look for the traces of Hibiki and the other two demons. Boom! Not long after entering the drum house, before Uchiha Isha could find the demon, the first demon had already appeared. An extremely thick arm came from the corner and punched heavily on the ground in front of Uchiha Isha. If he hadn't discovered it in time and dodged in time, even if he wouldn't be injured by the punch, he would still be in a bit of a mess. You actually dodged my attack. You are quite agile as a human. Your flesh and blood is worth tasting. When Uchiha Isha turned his eyes to the corner, the demon hiding in the corner stepped out and appeared in front of Uchiha Isha. This was a tall, slightly fat demon with black hair and a single horn. Judging from its size, breath, and the smell of blood on its body, this demon had eaten many people. You came just in time, so I don't have to look for it anymore. Uchiha Isha narrowed his eyes. Although it wasn't the hand demon that appeared, this demon was also his target. Sharingan, open. Illusion, Sharingan. Uchiha Isha directly opened the 2 Megatama Sharingan and used it on the demon in front of him. He did not use the Sharingan's illusion to control the demon directly, but made the demon have an illusion to avoid being discovered by Muzan Kibutsuji. Otherwise, his sun breathing would definitely be discovered by Muzan Kibutsuji, attracting the upper demons to kill him. Before he has the strength of a pillar, he does not want to cause trouble, he just wants to survive and develop. Sun breathing type 1, round dance. After completing the hypnosis of the demon, Uchiha Isha exerted force with both arms and swung a circular flame slash forward. This flame slash was not a special effect, the flame was indeed real. When Uchiha Isha awakened his past life memory, he was surprised to find this out. The various special effect slashes emitted by the breathing sword type are actually real. The special swordsmanship of the Demon Slayer core, combined with the power contained in the Sun Blade, can attract the power of the element to attack, thereby increasing its own lethality. The so-called special effects are also due to. This is probably why before Tsukuni Yoriichi taught the Demon Slayer core the breathing method, the swordsmen of the Demon Slayer core were able to compete with the demons with their own swordsmanship. Even Tsukuni Yoriichi's swordsmanship, his sun-breathing sword form, is partly based on the swordsmanship of the Demon Slayer core. This can also be seen from the fact that some of the sword forms of sun breathing are somewhat similar to the sword forms of the 5 basic breathing methods of the Demon Slayer core. As for the origin of such a magical swordsmanship, it may be related to the priest family who are closely connected with the Yubayashiki family. This is the power from God. Chapter 12. So fast. Seeing Uchiha Isha's round dance slash, the demon's eyes widened. Although under the illusion of the Sharingan, the slash seemed to have changed a little bit, and there was almost no trace of the breathing of the Sunday. But he could still feel the speed and power contained in this slash. This was far beyond his own reaction speed. Before he could react, Uchiha Isha's round dance slash had already reached his neck. Then, he beheaded him. So strong. The demon was a little bit unbelievable about Uchiha Isha's strength until his death. Then, he was beheaded and quickly turned into ashes. At the same time, a familiar movement came from Uchiha Isha's Sharingan. The demon's energy flowed out of the ashes and poured into the Sharingan. This made Uchiha Isha's 2 Megatama Sharingan start to rotate rapidly. Although he failed to evolve into a 3 Megatama Sharingan, he could feel that his right eye had increased a lot. At present, he has at least reached the distance of the 3 Magadama Sharingan. 70% progress. Really good. Uchiha Isha was very satisfied with the improvement brought by this demon. If the energy of another demon is as full as this demon, he may be able to open the 3 Magatama Sharingan without the energy of Xiangkai. Next is the next one. Uchiha Isha did not close his Sharingan. He continued to move forward along the road ahead, and continued to look for Xiangkai and another demon in the drum house. And soon, Uchiha Isha found it. This is the location under the corridor on the side of the drum house. He remembered that in the original work, this black-haired, 2-horned, 4-eyed, long-tongued demon appeared at this location when it attacked Agatsuma Zenitsu. After trying to find it, he really found the figure of this demon. It was still the same method used to kill the demon just now, and the move was also the same. Round dance with a sword. Uchiha Isha once again beheaded the demon in the drum house with a sword. As the demon was beheaded, powerful energy once again poured into Uchiha Isha's Sharingan, bringing him improvement. The energy of this demon is relatively less, but it also improves the progress by about 25%. It seems that if you want to open the 3 Magatama Sharingan, you still need the energy of Xiangkai. After feeling the condition of his right eye, Uchiha Isha felt a little regretful. But this little regret soon disappeared. It was only a matter of time. The highlight is coming soon. Back in the house, Uchiha Isha began to search for the whereabouts of the last Xiangkai. But I don't know if the tragic death of the 2 demons brought some pressure to Xiangkai, which also brought some trouble to Uchiha Isha. Because his position and the condition of the room are constantly changing, so that it is difficult for him to move forward normally, let alone find the location of Xiangkai. This is the result of Xiangkai's blood demon art. Xiangkai can use the drum on his body to change the position of the room he is currently in and the entire drum house. Combined with the drum with attacking ability on his body, he can kill the comer unexpectedly. At this moment, Xiangkai tried to use this method to kill himself. In this case, Uchiha Isha's eyes were fierce. The next moment, he directly activated the red sword and used the 12 sword forms of the sun breathing one after another, setting the room he was in on fire. Since Xiangkai would not come out, he would force Xiangkai to come out. As for the danger of being trapped in the sea of fire, Uchiha Isha did not care about it. With the energy of the 2 demons entering his body, he felt that his body was strengthened again. He could stay in the flames for a period of time without being affected. At the very least, he could force his way through the sea of fire. Wow! Crackling! Under Uchiha Isha's breath of the sun, the rooms and corridors of the drum house were soon ignited one by one, and the sound of flames and the crackling of burning wood could be heard. Xiangkai, who sensed the movement, could not sit still immediately. This was his home, his hiding place, how could he let Uchiha Isha burn and destroy it? With full of anger, Xiangkai, who was hiding in the dark, took the initiative to appear in front of Uchiha Isha. Rapid drum beating. Xiangkai used all his blood demon art. He madly beat his shoulders, legs, chest and back drums, and continuously attacked Uchiha Isha. For a moment, the room where Xiangkai and Uchiha Isha were located began to spin wildly up and down and left and right. A series of invisible 5-claw shock waves were constantly emitted from the drum on Xiangkai's chest, heading towards Uchiha Isha. At this moment, Uchiha Isha was in crisis. Don't be so arrogant! Uchiha Isha, who was a little dizzy, shouted softly. Even in such a critical moment, except for the initial shock, he has been in an extremely calm state. Facing such a fierce attack from Xiangkai, he jumped up and cast a Sharingan illusion on Xiangkai in the air to interfere with Xiangkai's senses. Then, he entered the state of full concentration breathing with lightning speed and used the sun breathing form 11 Sun Halo Dragon Head Dance. This is a sword move that is very similar to the ultimate move of water breathing form 10 Life Flow, or it can be said that it is a move evolved from Life Flow. Under Uchiha Isha's continuous slashes, a giant flaming dragon appeared out of nowhere and went straight to meet Xiangkai's continuous claw-shaped shock waves. Although Xiangkai's claw-shaped shock waves are difficult to capture, they can be traced in front of his Sharingan. This allows him to counterattack more easily. Bang bang! Boom! As if being swallowed by a giant dragon of fire, the waves collided. Xiangkai's attacks were blocked one by one until they all disappeared into nothingness. Sun breathing 7th form Yanghua 2 modified 100 steps flying sword. Uchiha Isha, who blocked all of Xiangkai's attacks, did not stop there. He understood the rotation pattern of the room and Xiangkai's position, and seized the perfect opportunity, and then used the improved version of Sun breathing 7th form Yanghua 2 on Xiangkai. He threw the sun blade in his hand directly, and let his sun blade stab Xiangkai. As the sun blade was thrown out, the sun blade attacked in the form of a red sword and stabbed Xiang Kai directly. So fast! Oops, no time to dodge. The sudden attack made Xiang Kai's eyes widen. He was controlling the room and wanted to launch a new wave of attacks, but he had no time to dodge the attack in front of him. Fortunately, it was okay to take this blow. Because the target of this attack was not his neck, but his own chest. Even if he was hit, at most he would be stabbed in the chest and his weapon would be destroyed. He thought so. But after really bearing this attack from Uchiha Isha, Xiang Kai regretted it. His eyes were full of shock and disbelief. This was not an ordinary stab at all. The damage it contained was beyond his imagination. As his body was stabbed, the extremely hot red knife directly caused his stabbed chest and weapon to disintegrate. As a result, the flesh and blood of the intact parts around him began to disintegrate and collapse. This immediately caused him to suffer unprecedented serious injuries. Chapter 13. Hibiki was severely injured and screamed. Under the great pain, he could not continue to beat the drum on his body to control the room and attack Uchiha Isha. The high-speed rotating room also stopped. This also gave Uchiha Isha another chance to attack. After landing, he rushed straight to Hibiki. Then, he hit Hibiki in the face with his left elbow. Hibiki screamed again and was knocked away. Die! At the moment when he knocked Xiang Kai away with his left elbow, Uchiha Isha pulled back the sun blade from Xiang Kai's chest with his right hand and launched the final blow. Round dance. Sun breathing type 1, another attack from the drum house. This time, Xiang Kai had no way to resist or dodge. Almost in the next second, the flaming slash had already cut off his head. Am I going to die? The beheaded Xiang Kai had no resentment or anger, only sadness times the scarred eyes are shedding tears. Goodbye. Uchiha Isha showed no mercy. The red knife in his hand fell again, burning Xiang Kai's head, turning it into ashes. The former lower 6, Xiang Kai, died. Then, come on. Next, it was the moment Uchiha Isha was looking forward to the most. He was ready to receive Xiang Kai's energy at any time. And this energy soon emerged and entered his Sharingan. Spin. The 2 Megatama Sharingan, which obtained a lot of energy, continued to spin at a speed that broke through the sky. With the help of this energy, the remaining 5% of the Sharingan progress was directly filled. This also made the 2 Megatama in Uchiha Isha's right eye change quickly. The third Megatama quickly appeared and took shape. The Sharingan, which turned into 3 Megatama, began to rotate in a new posture. As for the left 2 Megatama Sharingan, with the successful evolution of the right eye to the 3 Megatama, most of the remaining energy of Xiang Kai poured into the left eye. But the progress of the 3 Megatama Sharingan brought by this part of energy is less than Uchiha Isha imagined. In the end, the progress was only increased by about 30%. Logically speaking, it should have reached 50%. Is it because the evolution of the 3 Megatama Sharingan also consumed some energy? Although he was a little curious, Uchiha Isha didn't care too much. This little progress is not bad. It's nothing more than finding another nest of lower-ranked demons. Strong, really strong. Uchiha Isha was very satisfied with the powerful eye power of the 3 Megatama Sharingan. His eye power at this moment was at least several times stronger than before. This also made him look forward to the future Mangekyō Sharingan even more. Come to think of it, I don't seem to have obtained Xiang Kai's blood demon art. After feeling his current pupil power, Uchiha Isha was slightly surprised when he thought of something. He had previously wanted to test whether the Sharingan could copy blood demon art, and whether he could obtain the blood demon art by killing a demon who knew blood demon art. If it was to copy, he didn't have time and effort in the situation just now. As for the latter, he got a negative answer now. Is it because Xiang Kai's blood demon art is based on the drum on his body? Uchiha Isha kept guessing in his mind. No, it can't be said that there is none. After another in-depth perception, Uchiha Isha quickly discovered something strange. Although he did not obtain the blood demon technique of Xiang Kai, his 3 Megatama Sharingan seemed to have an extra eye technique that should not appear in the 3 Megatama Sharingan. It was the blood demon technique that Xiang Kai used to control the rotation of the room and change the position of the room. It actually works. Uchiha Isha was pleasantly surprised. Although he did not obtain the claw-like sonic attack blood demon art of Xiang Kai, since he obtained Xiang Kai's blood demon art, it proved that his guess was feasible. At least, after killing the evil demon, he can indeed obtain the opponent's blood demon art. With Xiongkai's blood demon art first, he can obtain many blood demon arts as his eye art in the future. The 12 demon moons will not only be the nutrients for the evolution of his Sharingan, but also his own devil fruit. Uchiha Isha thought so. The 3 Magatama Sharingan has pupil techniques, and I am the only one who can do this. My Sharingan is really a bit evil. However, isn't this eye technique somewhat useless? After the surprise, Uchiha Isha suddenly complained about his newly acquired eye technique of Xiangkai. Although Xiangkai's blood demon technique cannot be said to be useless, it has considerable limitations. That is, it can only be used in the house. In outdoor battles, it is inevitably useless. If his eye technique can be used outside the house, not to mention the ability to rotate the corresponding position, the ability to exchange the position of a certain area can be used as Sasuke's reincarnation eye technique Heavenly Hand Power. Speaking of houses, Infinite City should also be considered a house, right? If the final battle between the future and Muzan takes place in the Infinite City as before, maybe he can use the power of this eye technique to control the location of the Infinite City like Mingnu. Perhaps this is the place where Xiangkai's blood demon art can be most effective. Uchiha Isha inexplicably thought of Muzan Kibutsuji's base camp, Infinite City. I am really looking forward to the arrival of this day. Xiangkai. Soon, Uchiha Isha began to try out his new eye technique. He named the new eye technique after the source. He also planned to do the same with other new eye techniques he would acquire in the future. Buzz. The 3 who have the pupil technique. The Jade Sharingan twitched faintly. Xiangkai's eye technique was activated. The next moment, Uchiha Isha quickly appeared in the entrance of the drum house from the room where he had just fought with Xiangkai. This feeling was unexpectedly good. Very convenient. Quack. Walking out of the entrance, Uchiha Isha saw his crow waiting for him on the tree in front of him. Results, results. The crow kept asking Uchiha Isha about the result of this mission. The mission is completed. A total of 3 demons have been killed. Uchiha Isha explained the results of this demon hunting mission to his crow. After each mission is completed, the results of the mission need to be transmitted back to the Demon Slayer Corps headquarters through the crow. This is a rule. After further confirmation, the next demon hunting mission can be carried out. If it is not completed, or the Demon Slayer Corps swordsman is killed in battle, the Demon Slayer Corps will send a nearby Demon Slayer Corps swordsman, or a stronger Demon Slayer Corps swordsman from other areas to replace the mission. Until the demon is killed, the mission is completed. Understand? The crow flapped its wings to show that it understood. It was about to leave to pass the task results back and take on the next task for Uchiha Isha. However, before it could really fly, Uchiha Isha suddenly called it. This made the crow stop again and look at Uchiha Isha with a little confusion. Chapter 14. Oh, I almost forgot to say. Among these 3 demons, one is the former lower 6. Although he is the predecessor's lower rank demon, he is still a lower rank demon after all, right? Can I become a pillar? Uchiha Isha said with a smile. According to the rules of the Demon Slayer Corps, anyone who kills any of the 12 demon moons can be promoted to a pillar. Many of the current 9 pillars of the Demon Slayer Corps were promoted to the pillar level by killing lower rank demons. Although he does not need the glory brought by the identity of a pillar level swordsman, a pillar level swordsman does have more authority than an ordinary swordsman of the Demon Slayer Corps. A pillar level swordsman can not only freely apply to go to some core secret places of the Demon Slayer Corps, but can also assign other swordsmen or other members of the Demon Slayer Corps whose ranks are lower than his own. This is quite useful for him. Whether it is going to the swordsmith village to obtain the sword of Tsujikuni Yoriichi, or helping to find clues to the unknown whereabouts of the 12 demon moons, it is the same. If he can become a pillar level swordsman, he doesn't mind. In terms of strength and combat power, if the Sharingan is counted, he is no worse than a pillar level swordsman. Lower 6, former lower 6. The crow that learned about this suddenly cried a little loudly. Obviously, it was very shocked. Even though it was a crow, it knew the value of the lower 6. Based on the intelligence, the Demon Slayer Corps analyzed that there was a demon in the drum house, but they didn't know that there was a lower 6 inside. Even if it was only a former lower 6, or a lower 6, this was not something that an ordinary rookie swordsman could deal with. And Uchiha Isha killed the former lower 6? Prove, prove. After a brief shock, the crow and Uchiha Isha asked for proof. It did not believe Uchiha Isha's one-sided statement. The most important thing was that it really needed solid proof. Good. Uchiha Isha nodded upon hearing this and was about to show the evidence. After clenching his right fist, he shouted, "Show the class." The next moment, a mark slowly appeared on the back of his clenched fist. This mark is a character, armor. This is the so-called evidence. The true face of the mark is a Fuji flower carving. This was left by Yubayashiki Teruya and Yubayashiki Hana when measuring the body size and making the team uniform after passing the final assessment. Fuji flower carving is considered to be the exclusive mark of the swordsman of the Demon Slayer Corps. The mark will appear in the corresponding position with the language and muscle congestion, and show the current class of the swordsman of the Demon Slayer Corps. The magical thing is that it will automatically upgrade according to the hunting status of the Demon Slayer Corps swordsman, so different characters will appear. In the original history, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke did not kill the 12 demon moons by themselves. So in the Yoshiwara Flower Street chapter, they were only the Gen class. As for Kaneo, it is the G class above the three of them. As for himself, since he killed 2 powerful demons and the former lower 6 Hibiki, Fujikadio also absorbed the blood of powerful demons, thus showing the rank that Uchiha Isha could reach in this demon hunting battle. Quack. Seeing the rattan flower carving on Uchiha Isha's hand, the crow was startled and screamed. "It needs the Lord's judgment, it needs the Lord's judgment." After leaving this sentence, the crow, unable to make a conclusion, flew away immediately. It needed to inform the Lord Yubayashiki Yoya about this matter. Whether Uchiha Isha can become the new pillar is not something it can decide. "You left in such a hurry." Looking at the figure of the crow leaving, Uchiha Isha raised his eyebrows slightly. Whether he could become a pillar or not depended on the reaction and judgment of Yubayashiki Yoya after knowing this. It would probably take a few days to get the result. He could hunt demons by himself first. And his next destination was the Nada Spider Mountain. This was the residence of Lei, the current lower rank 5. Like Hibiki, Lei also made a home for himself in the mountains. What was different was that Lei also found a few weak demons and gave them his blood with the permission of Muzan Kibutsuji, making them his family. In this way, he could satisfy the family bond that he wanted and needed in his heart. The blood demon art of the lower string 5 Lei seems to be controlling Spider Sild to fight. If I get Rui's blood demon art, I wonder what kind of eye art it will become. Uchiha Isha had some expectations. With this expectation, according to the direction of Nada Spider Mountain that he had inquired about these days, he began to march towards Nada Spider Mountain. The distance from Nanda Spider Mountain to the drum house is not particularly far, but it is not close either. By the time we arrived at the foot of Nanda Spider Mountain, half a day had passed. All in all, it took Uchiha Isha a whole day just to travel. If he had not been physically strong, he would not have felt too tired for this journey. In addition, he absorbed the energy of 3 demons including Xiangkai, which improved his physical fitness again. I am afraid he needs to find a place to rest and adjust his physical and mental state. Because it took half a day to travel. When we left the drum house, it was still night. At this moment, it was already daytime. This naturally had no effect on Uchiha Isha. As he practiced the sun breathing, his feeling and strength during the day would be slightly stronger. But for demons who are afraid of the sun, this is not the case. It is estimated that if Uchiha Isha cannot find the home of Upper and Lower Moon 5 Lei on Nanda Spider Mountain, he will not be able to find even a demon. Where will it be? Uchiha Isha was running on the Nada Spider Mountain. The Sharingan Megatama in his eyes was spinning rapidly. He had opened the Sharingan early in order to find the traces of the demon. When he met the lower rank 5, Rui, he did not need to open his eyes again, and could directly attack the opponent by surprise. Although doing so consumed a lot of the pupil power of the Sharingan, it was more than enough for Uchiha Isha. After running up the mountain for 10 minutes, Uchiha Isha soon discovered something. Snapped. He heard a few noises, and suddenly a few unidentified figures flew out from behind a few big trees and came towards him. With the Sharingan's super dynamic vision, Uchiha Isha quickly saw the true faces of these figures. It was a monster with a human head and a spider body, about half the size of a person. There is no doubt that this is the demon from the Nada Spider Mountain. But these demons are not the lower string 5 Lei and his family, but the demons transformed by the lower string 5 Lei's brother using blood demon arts. Uchiha Isha still has some impression of the blood demon arts of the lower string 5 Lei's family. Are there some appetizers first? Uchiha Isha narrowed his eyes slightly. It seems that lower moon 5 Lei and his men are not incapable of fighting during the day. The dense trees and their shade can block most of the sunlight for them, allowing them to appear during the day. Uchiha Isha said to himself. Chapter 15. Puff. When Uchiha Isha made the corresponding judgment, the spider demons that surrounded him spit poisonous phlegm and attacked him. Before the attack, a foul smell had already hit him, making people feel a little uncomfortable. The smell itself was not poisonous, but it was simply so smelly that it made people unable to breathe. If you were hit by these poisonous phlegm, the final result would be either turning into a spider demon, or being melted and poisoned to death by the demon's poisonous phlegm. At this speed, you want to hit me? Uchiha Isha sneered. The seemingly impenetrable poisonous sputum attack was full of loopholes in his Sharingan. He could easily dodge it with his own speed. And he did it. With swift speed and snake-like movement, Uchiha Isha easily dodged the incoming poisonous sputum. In the gap between dodging, he had already quickly approached the attacking spider demon group. He didn't even use the sword form of the breath of the sun, and these spider demons were directly beheaded by him one by one. It's really bad. They are not much stronger than the demons on Fushigi Mountain. Feeling the energy flowing into his Sharingan after the spider demons died, Uchiha Isha was quite disgusted. These spider demons are undoubtedly the lowest level demons on Fushigi Mountain, and some of them may not have eaten humans. The energy they contain is very little. For him now, it is even more insignificant. Since I have eliminated the ambush, I think Lei and the others in the lower 5 must have noticed it. I have to be careful. Uchiha Isha thought. He did not relax because of his strong strength, and was still quite vigilant. With this vigilance, Uchiha Isha continued to move forward. With the spider demon and other gatekeepers in place, Uchiha Isha was already very close to the home of lower string 5 Lei. This also made it not take him long to find the home of lower string 5 Lei. A few minutes later, he was already standing at the door of the other party's house. His arrival aroused the vigilance of all the demons. Mom, Dad, Brother, Elder Sister, it seems that the swordsman of the Demon Slayer Corps is coming. Go, kill him for me. When Uchiha Isha was about to step into the house, the lower rank 5 Lei in the corner of the house said coldly to his family members. Although he was playing the game of house, he did not have much bondage and respect for his family members. What he had was just indifference and instructions. It was like commanding his servants. If his family members wanted to betray him, escape from him, or failed to complete the tasks he gave them, he would kill them without hesitation. Yes, father/brother will go right away. Spider father and spider brother, who had already succumbed to Lei's tyranny, said respectfully. Compared with spider brother's appearance, spider father is much more terrifying. Because his head is the only one among the demons that does not have a human face. His head is a huge spider head, which looks very scary. Coupled with his extremely tall and burly body, he gives people a feeling of being terrible and cruel. On the contrary, spider brother. He looks almost the same as the spider demons just now, all with human heads and spider bodies. The only difference is that he has more hair, and his face also has some red dots of different sizes connected by red lines, just like the lower 5 Lei. This feature is also shared by Spider Mother and 2 Spider Sisters on the side, but the position is slightly different. I know. Spider Mother and 2 Spider Sisters also responded. But compared to the responses of Spider Father and Spider Brother, their tone and reaction were somewhat timid. They dared not look at the lower string 5, Lei. They were also afraid of Lei's power. They didn't have time to escape from Lei, but they were not as loyal as Spider Father and Spider Brother. Snapped. When the spider family was about to go out and capture the intruder Uchiha Isha, the door of the house had been kicked down by Uchiha Isha without any courtesy. How dare you destroy our home? Uchiha Isha's rude behavior made Spider Father furious. He raised his arm and was about to hit Uchiha Isha hard with a punch. Compared with the blood demon arts of Spider Silk or the blood demon arts of Poisonous Sputum, his power is more inclined to the powerful brute force brought by his spider transformation. How dare you use such an attack? Uchiha Isha first used the Sharingan to affect Spider Father's senses, and then directly used the Sun-breathing Type 1, round dance to cut off Spider Father's arm. After cutting off Spider Father's arm, his Sun Wheel Sword went towards Spider Father's neck and cut it off mercilessly. Snapped. The sound of objects falling was heard. Almost in the next second, the huge arm and spider head of Spider Father fell to the ground at the entrance. And his body was soon turned into ashes because his head was cut off. Invisible energy surged out of the ashes of Spider Father and sank into Uchiha Isha's Sharingan. Not bad. Feeling the energy pouring in, Uchiha Isha's mouth curled up. The energy contained in Spider Father is stronger than the two demons except Xiangkai from the drum house. This also made the progress of his left eye 3 Magatama Sharingan directly go from the original 30% to nearly 60%. Should we say that he is worthy of being a demon who got the blood of lower string 5 REI? Compared with demons who become stronger by eating people, the energy intensity is indeed different. As long as the energy contained in other spider family members is consistent with Spider Father, maybe there is no need to kill lower string 5 REI, the energy of other spider family members is enough to evolve the 3 Magatama Sharingan by themselves. Spotted toxic phlegm. While Uchiha Isha was absorbing energy, Spider Brother, who was shocked by his father's instant death, launched a sneak attack on Uchiha Isha. This sneak attack naturally could not be hidden from Uchiha Isha's perception. After noticing Spider Brother's small movements, he easily dodged Spider Brother's attack. Then, he would behead Spider Brother in the same way. You go die too. Uchiha Isha fell with a knife. So fast. The speed was so fast that Spider Brother couldn't react at all. By the time he realized Uchiha Isha's attack, his head had already fallen to the ground, with an expression of disbelief on his face. My father and brother were killed with a single knife. The Spider Father and Spider Brother who died in seconds, made Spider Mother and Spider Sisters very frightened. In terms of strength, Spider Father and Spider Brother are better than them. This swordsman of the Demon Slayer Corps is too powerful. Although they were very shocked. But Spider Mother and Spider Sisters did not dare to escape. Otherwise, what was waiting for them was the punishment of the lower 5, lay. Blood Vampire. The 3 Spider Mothers immediately used their own blood demon arts to cover Uchiha Isha. The next moment, all kinds of spider silk attacks appeared and came towards Uchiha Isha. First, the spider silk of the Spider Mother attacked Uchiha Isha's limbs, then the spider web of the Spider Sister that wanted to stick to Uchiha Isha's body. Finally, the spider silk balls of the Spider Sister wanted to wrap Uchiha Isha's body into a spider cocoon. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is a spider silk trio. Chapter 16. Facing the blood demon arts of the Spider Silk Trio, no matter which attack he took, it would be disadvantageous to Uchiha Isha. But the question is, can this level of attack really work on Uchiha Isha? This question soon had a solution. Illusion Sharingan. Xiangkai. Uchiha Isha first used the Sharingan illusion to affect the senses of Spider Mom and Spider Sisters, and then directly activated his own eye technique. As the eye technique Xiangkai was activated, the next moment, his figure disappeared directly at the entrance. When he appeared again, he had come to the living room behind Spider Mom and the 3 Spider Sisters. At this moment, the living room has become the appearance of the entrance. And the original entrance has also become the appearance of the living room. That's right, Uchiha Isha used Xiangkai's eye technique to exchange the positions of the entrance and the living room. This also allowed him to easily avoid the incoming Spider Silk Trio Blood Demon technique. Of course. To be honest, he didn't even need to use the power of the Blood Demon technique. Any sword-type move is enough to block the attack of Spider Mom and Spider Sisters. But since they are fighting in the house, it doesn't hurt to try the power of Xiangkai's eye technique. This kind of Xiaotian hand power eye technique of time and space is really good. What? The disappearance of Uchiha Isha and the sudden change of the entrance naturally shocked Spider Mother and Spider Sisters. Before they could find out where Uchiha Isha was, the Sun Wheel sword in Uchiha Isha's hand had already launched a flaming slash, slashing across the heads of the 3 of them in one breath. Sun breathing form 1 round dance 3 consecutive slashes. Snapped. There were 3 consecutive crashing sounds. In the horrified and unwilling eyes of the Spider Mother and the Spider Sisters, their heads fell to the ground. Am I going to die? No, I don't want to die. Can I finally die? I don't have to be afraid anymore. The Spider Sisters and Spider Mom had different reactions before they died. The Spider Sisters, who were obsessed with survival, were unwilling to die. Spider Mom, on the other hand, seemed to have accepted her fate and was relieved. Although she played the role of mother, before becoming a demon, she was not a young woman, but a child. Her current appearance and the role she plays were forced by Lower Moon 5, Lei. She had difficulty getting into the role, and was punished the most times by Lei among all the demons. But now, she finally doesn't have to be afraid anymore, and doesn't have to worry about herself. Everything is over. Coming. Let me see if my left eye can evolve into a 3 Mangekyō Sharingan. As Spider Mother and the others turned into ashes one by one, Uchiha Isha's Sharingan also received energy from them. The 2 Megatama in his left eye were spinning rapidly, with a faint sign of a breakthrough. But unfortunately, at the moment when the 3rd Megatama in his left eye was about to appear, the rotation speed of the 2 Megatama in his left eye suddenly slowed down. The figure of the 3rd Megatama was ultimately unable to take shape, and the effort was in vain. Not enough energy. It seems that their energy is not as good as the Spider Father just now. Uchiha Isha was very regretful. It seems that he needs to kill another lower rank demon and absorb the opponent's energy. Then kill the remaining lower rank demons together. Thinking of this, Uchiha Isha walked towards the room behind the living room with murderous intent. No, it should be the room behind the entrance. He has not yet exchanged the position of the entrance and the living room. Are they all dead? Dad, Mom, brother, sister, you all died like this. You guys are useless for not being able to protect your children and brother. When Uchiha Isha walked towards the room, Rui, the lower moon 5, who felt the death of his family in the room, also stood up and walked out of the room. He did not feel sad or angry about the death of his family, but only indifference. Family members who are useless and fail to fulfill their family responsibilities are dead. Their bond with him is nothing more than that. He can continue to look for other demons, or turn other people into demons, and continue to gain new family members, so as to seek his own new family bond. But before that, he needs to kill the swordsman of the Demon Slayer Corps in front of him who killed his family. Even if they are useless family members, those who dare to kill their own family members must die. Blood Demon Art, Engraving. Lei casually threw out several spider silks, which attacked Uchiha Isha from all angles at a speed that was invisible to the naked eye. As the owner of the spider house, Lei's blood demon art is naturally related to spider silk. But the strength of his spider silk is not comparable to that of his family. Even the Nichiren sword can be easily cut by it. However, it also depends on who has the Nichiren sword and who is using it. If a swordsman is strong, it is naturally impossible for his Nichiren sword to be cut by Lei's spider silk. Very fast, but not fast enough. The spider silk coming from all directions did not attract Uchiha Isha's attention. Under the dynamic vision of the Sharingan, the tired spider silk was slow enough. His reaction was also enough to dodge easily. Isn't he just an average swordsman? Uchiha Isha's reaction ability far exceeded Lei's expectations. Could it be a new pillar of the Demon Slayer Corps? Lei narrowed his eyes. He looked at Uchiha Isha with a little caution. Although there are examples of lower-rank demons defeating pillar-level swordsmen, the victory or defeat of lower-rank demons against pillar-level swordsmen of the Demon Slayer Corps is often more in favor of the pillar-level swordsmen of the Demon Slayer Corps. This is also the biggest reason why the lower-rank demons are often replaced. If Isha is really the pillar of the Demon Slayer Corps, then he should be careful. Blood Demon Art, Rotation of Engraved Lines. Lei used his strongest Blood Demon Art without hesitation. The spider silk with the strongest hardness was ejected by him, and it went towards Uchiha Isha in the form of a giant vortex cocoon. In this small room, Uchiha Isha had no way to avoid this huge attack. And those who were caught in this move would have only two outcomes. Either they would be successfully trapped in it, like a beast caught in a trap, or they would be torn into pieces by their own silk cocoon, turning into countless pieces of meat. The speed of this attack was very fast. Almost in the next second, the vortex-shaped silk cocoon had covered Uchiha Isha's body. It seems that you are just like that. Seeing this scene, Lei sneered. He had seen the tragic death of Uchiha Isha. Let me have a taste of what the pillar of the Demon Slayer Corps tastes like. Kill you, maybe I will get another gift from that master. Lei sneered. After that, he tightened the silk thread in his hand, and was about to strangle Uchiha Isha in the silk cocoon into pieces. Puff! The sound of blood and flesh splashing could be heard. Under Lei's full strangulation, Uchiha Isha inside the giant silk cocoon was directly turned into a pool of tiny pieces of flesh and blood. It's over. Looking at the trophies that fell to the ground, Lei retracted his silk thread and was about to go forward and eat the flesh and blood into his stomach, turning it into his own strength. The flesh of a pillar-level swordsman must be very delicious. S.A. When Lei squatted down and grabbed a handful of Uchiha Isha's flesh and blood, he saw a sharp blade flashing by. A tingling and burning feeling came from Lei's neck, making him very painful. When he reacted, he was shocked to find that his head had fallen off his neck. As the head fell and faced behind him, Lei saw a very incredible scene. Uchiha Isha, who was cut into pieces by him with silk thread a few seconds ago, appeared behind him intact. The sun blade in Uchiha Isha's hand also stopped beside his neck at this moment. It seems that this is the truth behind his head and body. But, why? It can't be like this. He is obviously the winner. Chapter 17. I've already killed you. Lei still couldn't believe the sudden change. Who knows? Uchiha Isha shrugged. How could he tell Lei that he had cast an illusion on him with the 3 Magatama Sharingan? His illusion not only affected Lei's senses, but also made him fall into the illusion. The content of the illusion was exactly the scene Lei had just seen. That is, he died in Lei's hands. During this period, he had casually come behind Lei, and then killed Lei with a knife just like before. Fortunately, one of his Sharingan has evolved into a 3 Magatama Sharingan. If it was a 2 Magatama Sharingan, it might not be so easy to make Lei fall into the illusion perfectly. Keep it as a souvenir. Before Rui's body turned into ashes, Uchiha Isha stretched out his left hand, and made a digging motion with his index and middle fingers. Rui's left eye, which was engraved with Xiaohu, was directly taken out by him. If there was a syringe for drawing blood, he would like to draw some of Rui's blood. Whether it was for Tamayo's research or for the insect pillar Koko Shinobu of the Demon Slayer Corps, it would be a good choice. But unfortunately, he didn't have it. As for using bowls or cups, they didn't seem to exist in Rui's home. And whether the demon blood can be well preserved is still unknown. He simply took off Rui's left eye as evidence of a lower-rank demon, to see if his eyes could be successfully preserved after Lei's death. If he could, not only can it be used as research material for Tamayo and Shinobu Koko, but it can also be used as capital for his own advancement to the pillar level. If the former lower 6 Hibiki is not qualified, the current lower 5 Rui should be enough. Rui didn't care that his eyes were ruthlessly snapped by Uchiha Isha. What he was thinking about at the moment was still Uchiha Isha's death and survival. When his body and head began to dissipate rapidly, he subconsciously thought of his memories as a human. It turned out that the family bond that he had been thinking about was lost because of his own fault. He also owed his parents an apology. But unfortunately, as a demon, he is destined to go to hell and cannot meet his parents in heaven. It actually survived. Uchiha Isha was not concerned about the state of Lei before his death. Instead, he was quite surprised to see that Lei's eyeball was still there after Lei turned to ashes. Perhaps, if you peel off a part of the demon before it dies, it can be preserved. Whether it is demon blood or part of the demon's organs, flesh and blood, it is the same. Now, it's time to get to the main part. After a brief moment of surprise, Uchiha Isha quickly shifted his attention from Lei's eyes to his own eyes. At the moment when Lei was reduced to ashes, Lei's energy had already poured into his Sharingan. More of it flowed into the 2 Magatama Sharingan in his left eye. Under this tremendous energy, his 2 Magatama Sharingan, which had just almost evolved into a 3 Magatama Sharingan, began to spin at high speed again. And, after a few seconds, it directly turned into a 3 Magatama Sharingan. The double 3 Magatama Sharingan was officially born. Complete, finally complete. Uchiha Isha was quite excited about his pair of 3 Magatama Sharingan. After the 3 Magatama Sharingan, it was the Mangekyō Sharingan that he had been dreaming of. Fortunately, his Sharingan was special. Otherwise, it would not be possible to complete a series of evolutions in less than 20 days. In the world of Naruto, this would be terrifying. Except for Obito, who evolved directly from 2 Magatama to Mangekyō, who could compare with him. A certain Danzo would even regard him as a thorn in his side and want to get rid of him as soon as possible. Blood vampire magic, blood vampire magic. Soon, Uchiha Isha turned his attention to Rui's blood demon arts, or his own eye arts. When killing the spider family, he didn't know if it was because of their lack of strength, or if their blood demon arts had a better source. He did not successfully absorb the spider family's blood demon arts, and thus master the abilities of various spider silks and poisonous sputum. But after killing Rui and gaining Rui's energy, he did have another eye art in his Sharingan. The ability to manipulate silk threads. As for the thread, it seems that it can be replaced by hair or the thread that makes up clothes. After some experience, Uchiha Isha immediately understood his second eye technique, tired. With Xiangkai's blood demon technique first. He was not too surprised. As for his opinion on the eye technique of tired, this eye technique does not have the disadvantage of the venue restriction of Xiangkai's eye technique. But in itself, it can only be used to assist in combat. At least, he can't help but think that he can defeat the powerful upper rank simply with silk thread. At most, it can temporarily trap the opponent's actions and give himself a better opportunity to attack. Who to target next? The only ones that can be found directly seem to be Upper 6, Gitaru and Daki, who are in Yoshiwara's red light district, and Upper 2, Doma, of the Eternal Paradise cult. As for the latter, he had to find the location of the Eternal Paradise cult first. Uchiha Isha imagined the subsequent hunting targets. As for Upper 6 Kifutaro and Daki, it would not be difficult for him to kill them with the power of Sun Breathing and Red Blade and Sharingan. As for Doma, it would be better for him to be more stable first, and it would not be too late to kill them when he reached the level of a pillar. In addition, if we wait and see according to the original development, we can also wait for the Lower Moon Nightmare and the Upper Moon Akaza in the future Infinite Train. Let alone Nightmare, if he cooperates with the Flame Pillar Rengoku Kyojuro, it may be more than enough to kill Akaza. Uchiha Isha has not forgotten the two protagonists of the Infinite Train arc. Nightmare, this is also the only lower-rank demon after the Nada Spider Mountain arc in the original history. Because the fifth lower-rank demon, Lei, was killed by Tomioka Jiyu, Muzan Kibutsuji, who was angry at the incompetence of the lower-rank demons, executed almost all the remaining lower-rank demons in the Infinite Castle, leaving only Nightmare. Now that Lei died in his own hands, Muzan Kibutsuji would surely do the same thing. This is somewhat a pity. This means that he will miss the opportunity to obtain the energy of 4 lower-rank demons. But then again, with his current 3 Magatama Sharingan, even the lower-rank demons seem to be unable to meet his needs for the Sharingan. If he wants to evolve into a Mangekyō Sharingan, he still has to look at the energy of the upper-rank demons and even the energy of Muzan Kibutsuji, who is the Demon King. Let's get rid of the Nightmare first. Killing the upper-rank demon too early would alert the enemy. Uchiha Isha finally chose Nightmare, who needed to wait for a while to be killed. If the upper rank 6 was killed early, it would inevitably arouse Muzan Kibutsuji's vigilance in advance. If the plot development changes later, it will also affect his own actions. Chapter 18. It was already evening when he left Nada Spider Mountain and returned to Fuji House in the valley. The continuous travel made Uchiha Isha want to have a good rest for a few days. But in the face of the consequences caused by the former lower 6, Hibiki, being killed by him in his attempt to apply to become a pillar. Even if he wanted to have a good rest for a few days, it seemed that he could not. At noon the next day, a figure had already appeared in Fuji House and found him who was resting. The owner of the figure was not his, nor was he a hidden or other swordsman of the Demon Slayer Corps, but a pillar. To be precise, it was the current water pillar, Tomioka Jiyu. There was a reason why Tomioka Jiyu came to the door. The death of the former lower 6, Hibiki, caused a great shock in the Demon Slayer Corps. Especially Yubayashiki Yoya. He had been paying attention to Uchiha Isha because of the final assessment, and he was directly surprised by Uchiha Isha's brilliant record. Unexpectedly, the fledgling Uchiha Isha had such strength. With such achievements, it seems that it is nothing to give Uchiha Isha the title of pillar directly, and let Uchiha Isha become the 10th pillar after the 9 pillars. However, the number of pillars in the Demon Slayer Corps is limited after all, and the upper limit is 9 people. In addition, after all, Hibiki is the previous lower 6, which is somewhat inconsistent with the rules. Of course, the most important thing is whether Uchiha Isha's own strength is really up to standard. So, he sent Tomioka Jiyu, who just returned to the headquarters to report on his work, to find Uchiha Isha. If Uchiha Isha has reached the pillar level or close to the pillar level, he does not mind changing the rules of the Demon Slayer Corps and making Uchiha Isha the first 10th pillar in the history of the Demon Slayer Corps. Pillar-level swordsmen are still very scarce in the Demon Slayer Corps. In particular, the scope of responsibility of each pillar is really not small. It would be great if there could be a new pillar to help take charge of a part. This can also greatly reduce the current pressure on the Demon Slayer Corps. However, what Yubayashiki Yoya didn't know was, as the water pillar, Jiyu Tomioka seemed to have somewhat misunderstood the intentions of his lord. Jiyu Tomioka thought that his lord Yubayashiki Yoya wanted him to test Uchiha Isha's strength. If Uchiha Isha's strength met the standard, he would give up his identity as the water pillar and hand it over to Uchiha Isha. Since Uchiha Isha is also a water-breathing swordsman, it is more appropriate for him to inherit the title of water pillar. At the same time, this can be regarded as satisfying his wish, which can be said to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. At least, Jiyu Tomioka thought so. He did not think that he was a water pillar and thought that he was not worthy of inheriting the title of water pillar. Even in terms of achievements, he had killed 50 demons and killed lower-ranked demons, and he was worthy of the title of water pillar. But in his opinion, the water pillar should belong to Santo, who almost killed all the demons on Fujiki Mountain in the final assessment of his class and sacrificed himself to protect them. He always believed from the bottom of his heart that the person who should die on Fujiki Mountain should actually be himself, not Santo. It is also the responsibility of the Yuden to inherit the position of water pillar, to shine for the Demon Slayer Corps and protect people from the harm of demons. Now that he can hand over the position of water pillar to a more suitable person, it is also a relief for him. You are Uchiha Isha, right? I heard that you want to become a pillar? That depends on whether you can defeat me. When he saw Uchiha Issa, Tomioka Gyuho came straight to the point and said to Uchiha Issa. Although this remark did not have any other meaning, let alone provocation. Uchiha Issa also knew that Tomioka Gyuho was so dull and unaware. But after hearing what Tomioka Gyuho said, he still couldn't help feeling a little unhappy. Especially, Tomioka Gyuho's extremely bland appearance, coupled with a tone that seemed a little contemptuous. It was as if he was overestimating himself by wanting to become a pillar, and that he was not worthy of being one. I see. My lord, what you mean is that the former lower six is not strong enough. If I want to become a pillar, I need to prove whether I have the strength of a pillar, right? Uchiha Isha confirmed with Tomioka Gyuho. From Tomioka Gyuho's words, he roughly heard this meaning. The record of hunting down former lower six demons, plus the strength of a pillar-level swordsman. In this way, he can legitimately become the new pillar of the Demon Slayer Corps. On this point, Yabayashiki Yoshiya was relatively rigorous. And he had no objection to his words. Yes. Tomioka Gyuho nodded in affirmation. As long as you can defeat me, you will be the next water pillar. The next water pillar. Uchiha Isha was a little confused when he heard this. Was he going to compete with Tomioka Gyuho for the water pillar? It seemed that Yabayashiki Yoya had no intention of breaking the 9-pillar limit. At this moment, Uchiha Isha, who didn't know that Tomioka Gyuho had misunderstood his lord Yabayashiki Yoya's words, was directly led astray by Tomioka Gyuho. But the problem was that he was not using water breathing now, but sun breathing. Forget about the water column. I am using other breathing methods now. Besides, I don't mean to compete with you for water column. If I really can't become a pillar, I can be an A-class swordsman. Uchiha Isha shook his head. He wanted to become a pillar as much as possible, but he didn't want to take away Tomioka Gyuho's pillar. Since I can't become a pillar, it's okay to be an A-class swordsman. The authority of an A-class swordsman should be enough. At least it should be no problem for me to go to the swordsmith village and ask someone to help find the location of the Eternal Paradise cult. You are not using water breathing now. Tomioka Gyuho was a little confused. This was seriously inconsistent with the information he got from his lord. It was said that Uchiha Isha was a water-breathing swordsman. Since Uchiha Isha changed his breathing method and no longer used water breathing, how could he inherit his position as the water pillar? Yes. Uchiha Isha nodded and affirmed again. Never mind, it's okay if it's not water breathing. Come and play a game and you will know. As long as you are strong enough, you can replace me and become the new pillar, the pillar corresponding to your breathing method. After a moment of silence, Tomioka Gyuho said to Uchiha Isha. Although he regretted that Uchiha Isha did not use the water breathing, he had to complete the task assigned by the lord. As long as he was sure that Uchiha Isha had the strength of a pillar, it would be fine. As for the water pillar, it was gone for now. Someone will inherit the position of the water pillar again in the future and spread the name of the water pillar. Why must I replace you? Uchiha Isha wanted to complain. But he guessed the reason. This was caused by Tomioka Gyuho's self-abandonment. Tomioka Gyuho felt that the person who should become the water pillar was not himself, but his senior brother, Santo. This was a knot in his heart. Forget it, just fight if you want. I happen to be interested in your water column. I heard that you created the unprecedented water-breathing Form 11 Nagi. As a former user of water breathing, I would like to see it. Uchiha Isha said. He and Tomioka Gyuho must have a fight. Because Tomioka Gyuho was now obsessed with this point and insists on fighting him. Then he can only fight Tomioka Gyuho. Taking this opportunity, he just saw the so-called water-breathing Form 11 Nagi, and copied it with the Sharingan, turning it into his own moves. Chapter 19. Oh! Have you heard of my story? Tomioka Jiyu asked with a little surprise. He did create his own unique extended water-breathing move, which is the 11th form, Nagi. But only a few swordsmen knew this, and even the other 9 pillars might not know it. Uchiha Isha actually knew this, which surprised him a little. My trainer heard it from others and told me that you should be the best among all the water pillars. Uchiha Isha said. This is a lie. If Tanjiro were here, his sharp nose would definitely be able to smell it. His trainer didn't know that Tomioka Jiyu created the 11th form of water breathing, Nagi. Really? Tomioka Jiyu's eyes moved slightly. He did not doubt Uchiha Isha's words. Instead, he was moved by Uchiha Isha's words, you should be the best one among all the water pillars. Even though he still didn't think he was worthy of the title of water pillar, he was still very touched to be recognized by others. But soon, under some painful memories, this touch was quickly suppressed by Tomioka Jiyu. He, Tomioka Jiyu, still didn't deserve the title of water pillar. Let's get started. Tomioka Jiyu drew out his blue sun blade and prepared to fight with Uchiha Isha. Okay. Uchiha Isha nodded. Then he also drew out his black sun blade. Black sun blade, it seems that he has indeed changed his breathing method. Uchiha Isha's black sun blade made Tomioka Jiyu further confirm what Uchiha Isha said just now. It cannot be said that the black sun blade appears on the body of the user of water breathing, but it is also extremely rare. With Uchiha Isha's powerful strength, it is even less likely to happen. At least, Tomioka Jiyu thinks so. It is really a pity that he is no longer a swordsman of water breathing even though he has the strength to defeat the lower rank. How about deciding the winner with just one move? You use water breathing form 11, Nagi directly, and I will use the strongest attack I can. This is enough to judge my strength, right? Uchiha Isha said. That's it. Tomioka Jiyu felt that Uchiha Isha's proposal was quite reasonable. His own water-breathing 11th form Niji is a defensive move that can invalidate all spells that come within the attack range of his own Sun Blade. This is true for both the Blood Demon arts of the demons and the breathing sword forms of the Demon Slayer core swordsman. It is most appropriate to judge whether Uchiha Isha has reached the level of a pillar-level swordsman by using his own water-breathing 11th form Niji to resolve Uchiha Isha's strongest attack. Okay, I'll go for it then. Uchiha Isha was ready to go. The next moment, he entered a state of full concentration and breathing, ready to launch an attack. Has he reached the state of full concentration breathing and constant concentration? This is indeed the threshold of a pillar-level swordsman. Judging from his aura, he seems to be close to the strength of a pillar. No, it's the pillar. Feeling the change in Uchiha Isha's aura, Tomioka Jiyu's calm eyes became a little more serious. At this moment, the feeling Uchiha Isha gave him was almost the same as that of the other pillars. Even if there was still a slight gap, it was not much. At least, he was stronger than when he first became the water pillar. Is this definitely a newcomer who just passed the final assessment not long ago? Sun-breathing 11th form Dragon of the Sun Head Dance. Uchiha Isha instantly launched a series of high-speed slashes. Under the continuous slashes, the fire dragon formed by the flames kept flying and came towards Tomioka Jiyu with great momentum. Water-breathing type 10, life-flowing. This attack was very similar to the strongest attack of water breathing, which surprised Jiyu Tomioka. But soon, he, who was familiar with water breathing, recognized that this was not water breathing type 10, life-flowing. It was also a series of dragon-shaped slashes, but the power of this attack was even stronger than water breathing type 10, life-flowing. Is this the breathing method that Uchiha Isha has mastered at the moment? Sun breathing? Jiyu Tomioka, who has not read the secret records of the Demon Slayer Corps, does not know the existence and significance of sun breathing. The key point he understood is that sun breathing is powerful. Even the 5 basic breathing methods and their derivative breathing methods are inferior to it. Water breathing form 11, Nagi. Almost the next moment after Uchiha Isha used sun breathing form 11, Sun Rhythm Dragon, Head Dance. Tomioka Jiyu also used his own water breathing form 11, Nagi. Here it comes. With the help of the cover of the attack, Uchiha Isha quietly opened his Sharingan and began to copy Tomioka Jiyu's form 11 Niji. Soon, the water-breathing form 11 Niji that belonged to Tomioka Jiyu was successfully copied by him. However, Tomioka Jiyu was completely unaware of this. At this moment, as the form 11 Niji was used, Tomioka Jiyu instantly entered a state of tranquility. The area around his body seemed to have turned into a calm lake, making all incoming attacks disappear like smoke. SA. Uchiha Ishi's attack landed in front of Tomioka. In a trance, sporadic ripples appeared. It was as if a stone fell into the lake, causing tiny waves. Under the powerful defense of water-breathing Form 11 Nagi, Uchiha Ishi's sun-breathing Form 11 Dizzy Dragon Toma's fierce attack was quickly resolved. In less than a moment, it had disappeared. Tomioka's surroundings once again returned to calm. It was as if nothing had happened just now. However, was this attack really completely blocked? Tomioka's hair, which slightly smelled of burnt, and his damaged Haori gave a negative answer at this moment. Tomioka blocked this attack, but he was not able to completely block it. He was hit by Uchiha Ishi's slash. Although he was not hurt, his absolute defense was indeed broken. This is the first time since Form 11 Nagi was created that he failed to completely block the opponent's attack. This result made Tomioka somewhat silent. "You are amazing." After another moment of silence, Tomioka put the Nichiren sword back into the scabbard and gave his own evaluation and affirmation. It may be because he did not give it his all. But if Uchiha Ishi did not have the strength of a pillar level, it would be impossible for him to break through his 11th form, Nagi. Since Uchiha Ishi did it, he undoubtedly has the strength of a pillar level. Moreover, he is not an ordinary pillar level swordsman. This is a great recognition for me. Uchiha Ishi also put his Nichiren sword back into the scabbard and smiled. He didn't expect that he could break through Tomioka's 11th form, Nagi. Did Tomioka let him go? Maybe that's the reason. But correspondingly, his real strength at the moment has indeed reached the level of a pillar. Even if he is not a real pillar in terms of level and realm, at least he seems to have reached this level of strength. He himself was a little surprised at this. He could only attribute it to the improvement of his body brought by the energy of the demon absorbed by the Sharingan. Chapter 20. Since you do have such strength, when I return to the headquarters, I will resign from the position of water pillar and apply to the Lord to make you the sun pillar. Tomioka said to Uchiha Ishi. With this exchange of blows, everything has been decided. Uchiha Ishi is qualified to become a pillar. And he can finally stop being a water pillar. Day pillar. Uchiha Ishi's mouth twitched slightly when he heard this. According to the naming of the Demon Slayer core pillars, the user of sun breathing is indeed called the sun pillar. But why does it sound so strange to him? The in sounds strangely like a verb. This is definitely not because he is too dirty. Forget it, becoming a pillar in this way is meaningless to me. Moreover, the Lord will not agree. Uchiha Ishi shook his head. Let alone the former, the latter can be said to be beyond doubt. How could Yubiashiki Yoshiya agree to Tomioka's resignation? This is impossible. Even if Tomioka wants to give up the water pillar, he will be persuaded by Yubiashiki Yoshiya's Butsudan mouth. However, you can explain the situation of our confrontation to the Lord in detail. The results may be different. I may be able to become a pillar, but you are still a water pillar. Uchiha Ishi said. The strength of a pillar-level swordsman, plus the sun-breathing he revealed. If these two things were heard by Yubiashiki Koya, I'm afraid that even if he didn't want to become a pillar, Yubiashiki Koya would definitely make an exception and let him become a pillar. Yet, I understand. Tomioka first frowned slightly, looking thoughtful. Then, he nodded gently in response. Thinking about it carefully, it seems that it is really difficult for the Lord to agree to his resignation. Otherwise, when he inherited the title of water pillar, he would have successfully resigned from the position of water pillar. In addition, thinking back to what the Lord said before he set out, he may have misunderstood the Lord's meaning. So, his imagination that the Lord asked him to hand over the water pillar to Uchiha Ishi was just his illusion? Then I will go back to the headquarters first. Tomioka said goodbye. He would return immediately to explain the situation to his lord, Uzumaya Kazuya. Whether it was a misunderstanding or the truth, all of this needed the Lord Uzumaya Kazuya's confirmation. Take this with you too. Uchiha Ishi took out a spherical object wrapped in black cloth and threw it to Tomioka. What is this? Fugong Yiyong subconsciously took the thing that Uchiha Ishi threw to him and gently squeezed it. It was soft. It looked like a spherical object. Since the former lower 6 may not be enough, the current lower 5 should be enough. After completing the previous mission, I came back and found the traces of the lower string 5 and killed them. This is his eye with the mark of the lower string engraved on it. Uchiha Ishi said. He was originally thinking about whether to give this eyeball to Tamayo or Koko Shinobu, but now that Tomioka has come, he will just let Tomioka Gyuhu take it back to the Demon Slayer Corps. It can be used as a proof of his new military exploits and strength, and it can also be used for research by the insect pillar Koko Shinobu. The 5 lower moons. Tomioka Gyuhu nodded slightly. He was already aware of Uchiha Isha's strength. He was not surprised that Uchiha Isha was able to kill the 5 lower moons. On the contrary, he was somewhat surprised that Uchiha Isha encountered 2 lower moons in a row within a day or two. It is not easy to find the traces of the 12 demon moons, let alone to find and kill them in succession. With this trophy, maybe you can become the 10th pillar of the Demon Slayer Corps. Tomioka Gyuhu agreed with what Uchiha Isha had just said. In his opinion, no one is more suitable to be the new pillar than Uchiha Isha. I think so too. Uchiha Isha smiled confidently. The next day. Demon Slayer Corps headquarters. After returning here at full speed, Tomioka Gyuhu explained the situation yesterday, especially Uchiha Isha's strength and the trophy given by Uchiha Isha. Breath of the Sun, it's actually Breath of the Sun. After listening to Tomioka Gyuhu's description, Yubayashiki Yoya's focus was obviously not on Uchiha Isha's strength and the fact that Uchiha Isha had killed another lower-ranked demon. He directly grasped the key point that made him extremely shocked and excited: sun breathing. This is the most powerful starting breathing method. Even the 5 basic breathing methods of wind, thunder, water, fire, and rock are just branches of sun breathing. According to rumors, the sun-breathing swordsman of the Warring States period almost killed Muzan Kibutsuji. Unfortunately, in a catastrophe, the secret scroll of sun-breathing included in the Demon Slayer Corps was completely destroyed and has been cut off since then. There are only a few words left about sun-breathing. Unexpectedly, sun-breathing has never been cut off and appeared in this era. And there are people who have mastered this starting breathing method that almost no one can master. This is a sign and the hope of the Demon Slayer Corps. Yubayashiki Yoya felt so from the bottom of his heart. The ability to predict the future brought by the priest bloodline in his body seems to have predicted this result. Since the breathing of the sun appeared in this era, Muzan Kibutsuji will also be buried in this era. The Demon Slayer Corps will win the final victory. Hey, hey. Cough cough. Excessive excitement made Yubayashiki Kaoru gasp for air. Finally, he started to cough. My lord. Yubayashiki Amina looked worried. She kept patting Yubayashiki Yoshiya's back, trying to make him feel better. Although she was Yubayashiki Yoshiya's wife, she addressed him as lord like the other members of the Demon Slayer Corps. Their children were also called lord. I'm fine. I'm just too happy. Yubayashiki Yoya struggled to adjust his state. His decaying body didn't have much time left. But if he could hear the news of Muzan Kibutsuji's death before he died, he would die without regrets. Tianyan, notify everyone to hold an emergency meeting of the 9 pillars. At the same time, Isha, the user of Breath of the Sun, came here. He will be the 10th pillar of our Demon Slayer Corps, and will also be the hope of our Demon Slayer Corps in the future. Yubayashiki Yoya kept saying. He convened the meeting of the 9 pillars, which was originally held every 6 months, in advance. He wanted to see Uchiha Isha, the swordsman who mastered the breathing of the sun, with his own eyes. Moreover, he was betting everything on the Demon Slayer Corps. When necessary, the 9 pillars would also escort Uchiha Isha and help him grow. At the same time, considering Uchiha Isha's military exploits and strength in killing the lower moons, the name of the 10th pillar, Sun Pillar, will also be officially awarded to Uchiha Isha. After 400 years, the name of the Sun Pillar will reappear in the Demon Slayer Corps. Yes. Yubayashiki Aminu was also very excited. Her expectations were no less than her husband Yubayashiki Kyoya's. At this moment, she seemed to have seen the end of Muzan Kibutsuji. And the bright future of the Demon Slayer Corps. The Yubayashiki clan will be freed from the curse caused by Muzan Kibutsuji, wash away their sins, and enjoy a normal lifespan. Being able to live to see this scene was more important to her than anything else.